Across the heartland of America, farmers are stumbling upon mysterious boxes of ticks scattered in their fields.
There are ticks everywhere. In 30 years, 20 some years of having horses, I've never had to deal with these many ticks.
While reports flood in of unnatural surges in tick populations dropping like a biblical plague from the skies.
There it is right there. The tick box. I'm not going to touch it because there's ticks all over that thing. I know there is. Look at them crawling out of it. Millions of them. You can see the ticks.
And even boa constrictors in Florida that are invasive, they're now suddenly getting eaten and dying off because there's so many ticks all over them. I mean, this is just out of control.
As tick-borne illnesses explode nationwide, Lyme disease cases have skyrocketed, with ER visits for bites hitting multi-year highs this spring.
Look at my face and my neck. I can't eat red meat anymore. I can't have any animal byproducts in anything. And it's in everything. This is alpha-gal syndrome.
A 47-year-old New Jersey man ate a burger in 2024 and died 4 hours later. 2 weeks earlier, he got sick after eating a steak. It's called alpha-gal syndrome. It usually starts with a bite from a Lone Star tick that sensitizes a person's immune system to a sugar molecule found in the meat of mammals called alpha-gal. Reactions can include hives, nausea, and life-threatening anaphylaxis.
Yet just as the panic builds, pharmaceutical giants are fast-tracking a new Lyme disease vaccine, poised for rollout amid the chaos.
Stephen Rich, a professor of microbiology at UMass Amherst. He has studied ticks for decades. He is watching as Pfizer is now seeking approval on a Lyme disease vaccine.
What they found was that it was about 73% efficacious, meaning that it worked about 73% of the time.
Vaccine went to market in the late 90s, but failed.
For one reason or another, the company, arguably they said because of sales, took it off the market.
The demand now is high, but Rich and his researchers fear the public may see a vaccine as a tick cure-all.
If you got rid of Lyme disease, you won't get rid of ticks.
If approved, this vaccine could be a 4-dose vaccination series, 3 injections in 1 year and a booster at year 2.
So, I mean, if this vaccine is approved, it would be a game changer in the fight against Lyme disease.
And it's nothing new. From Cold War tick experiments to Plum Island labs, bioweapons research has turned insects into silent vectors for years.
Did we actually use ticks as bioweapons?
Yes, it's actually in CIA documents that have been declassified. For instance, infected ticks were deployed from C-130s flying low over sugarcane fields in Cuba back in the day under President Kennedy. There is abundant evidence of the testing, field testing of infected ticks and other insects in a variety of settings. In the United States and elsewhere, clearly USAMRIID was involved, and in particular the Plum Island facility that had been a biowarfare investigative facility up in Manhattan, Long Island region, and then was transferred over to USDA, was involved in a lot of this research.
Possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And there's actually analogs of this in life. There's this thing called the Lone Star tick, where if it bites you, you'll become allergic to meat. I can sort of describe the mechanism. So that's something that we can do through human engineering. We can kind of possibly address really big world problems through human engineering.
We've seen this playbook before, and only too recently. Create or amplify the crisis, suppress natural treatments and honest debate, then roll out the profitable fix. Declassified documents on military insect releases and ongoing congressional probes into Lyme's bioweapon origins only deepen the suspicion. The government parasites are literally sucking the blood from its own people. John Bound reporting for the Alex Jones Network.
I want to thank the viewers and listeners for keeping us on the air the last 30 years.
Welcome to the show. It's It's May 22nd. May 22nd, 2026. Friday Night Live. Thank you for being here. Sorry, I'm talking to the mic, these cheap ass mics. We're going to invest in microphones soon. Not yet, though, but pretty soon. Thank you for being here. I have one hell of a broadcast for you tonight. Hopefully, you stay for the whole thing. We have a lot going on here. We want to cover the data centers. We're not going to let that go. We're also got a bunch of stuff with the Charlie Kirk assassination and stuff. And I got some really interesting stuff toward the end of the show. Well, when we do the Charlie Kirk stuff, I want to show you some remote viewing stuff. And you may or may not believe in remote viewing, so just be open-minded about it. But you might learn something tonight about what has gone on with TPUSA, or allegedly, or Erica more specifically, when we get to that portion of it. I was shocked. I think it's very interesting. So we're going to cover that tonight as well. We also are going to cover the election. They stole Massie's election, allegedly. We have the numbers. The numbers are in. It's as odd as 2020. I mean, it really is. When you look at the numbers, we'll get into it in detail. But what I can tell you right now for sure is there was 100% more voting in Massie's primary than there had been in the last 14 years of him, of every primary that he was in. Yeah. So we have the numbers. We have a couple different people that broke it down. We took the best estimates or the best reports that we could find, and got them in a way to where they're in a form here to where they're not 10, 20 minutes long. They're shorter. So I got all the details out of it with the facts, because we just want to show you the facts, and we're not going to get into all ups and downs and all that stuff, but we're going to show you by proof, and that the betting markets are controlling the vote. So we're going to get into that too. What else are we going to talk about tonight? The cover up of Charlie Kirk's assassination with UVU and the governor and the feds, allegedly, the FBI, that whole thing. We got the proof is out now that the contractor that went in there that first weekend after Charlie was killed to put in pavers was on a 911's got to be done before Monday kind of thing. It reminds me of Butler when the FBI, or who I'm assuming it was the FBI, it might have been CIA, I don't know, when they were on the roof with a hose washing the blood down after Crooks allegedly was killed on the roof. Remember that? So it reminds me of that. It reminds me of Boston Marathon. It reminds me of a lot of different things that has happened in the last, as far back as you could go. I mean, it just is. I mean, at this point, anytime there's anything that goes on that that has to do with assassinations or murders or debatable at any the least amount of questions, we know now that it's if you have to question it, and I know this sucks that we're even thinking this way, but if you even have to think about it briefly, it's fraud. It's a false flag. It's it's all that stuff. So we're going to get into it tonight. We're not going to bore you with it, with all the ups and downs, but we're going to definitely get you up to speed on what what our investigations have shown. That's what we're going to do. And so if you're in California Well, how do I say this? If you're in California, you already know. But if you're not in California, maybe you just run across this show and you don't know nothing about what we do. We're based out of Northern California. So I'm concerned with like what's going on with politics in California. It's one of my top priorities because if everything that happens affects my family. And so there was a diaper debacle with Gavin Newsom, the current governor of California, and he was literally making deals to buy diapers. I think it was 100 times more than what diapers sold for in the store. We're going to show you that. I mean, it's just the corruption it's not just Republicans or Democrats, it's all the politicians with the exception of maybe a couple. Well, they run off all the ones that aren't taking a cut, right? All the people in politics that aren't on the take, they get removed with APAC money or whatever, bunches of billionaires cash, runs them off. It's happened to everyone that I could think of since I've been around. One way or another, they get rid of them. Either they pay to put somebody in the seat to pay for the ballots. They're the what are they called? The mail-in ballots or whatever. I mean, it's just the whole thing is it's so corrupt. I'll say this before we get started. I was talking to someone, I'll leave their name out of it for right now. And I was like, politics sucks so bad that it just gives me like, it's like a gut punch every time I look at it because it's so corrupt and it's gotten so corrupt in your face kind of corrupt. They do it to you right at you because they know that nothing's going to happen to them, whether it's Fauci or it's Newsom or it's Adam Schiff or any of these characters that have been in office, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, we could go down the list, right? All the different people that even the ones that you think like Donald Trump, prime example. We thought he was the best thing since sliced cheese, man. Just like popcorn don't pop without President Trump. He was just the best. To come and find out that he is not the best. Has he done some good things? Yes, but the majority, the bad outweighs the good, in my opinion. That's my alleged opinion. Anyway. All right, let's get into this. Stand by.
I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
In the shadowy corridors of Sacramento's one-party fiefdom, Governor Gavin Newsom once again stands exposed as the master architect of yet another taxpayer-funded grift. This time, it's a $20 million diaper deal funneled through a nonprofit network tied to his wife.
40 million diapers, as many diapers will be distributed this year as Californians. We'll get to 80 million next year. The goal ultimately is 160 million, but we'll start 25% of the need, get up to 50% of the need next year. So we're going to go where the need is greatest first, and we'll start with 400 diapers.
The state is set to hand out 40 million diapers at a bloated 50 cents apiece. That is 8 to 10 times what bulk buyers pay at Costco. The math doesn't add up for the very families it's supposed to help.
All right, so Gavin Newsom is taking $20 million of your money to send 100,000 babies 400 diapers. That works out at 50 cents per diaper. We just came into Target to check out what you could buy it for in the store. Here you go, just check this one out here. $162, $26. That works out at 16 cents per diaper. Gavin Newsom's diapers are 3 times more expensive. This isn't even Costco. Why is it 3 times more expensive for Gavin Newsom to send diapers to 100,000 babies? Think they're just leaving the money in the bank accounts of the parents in the first place? Because it's going to some total bullshit non-profit, which the cronies of his are going to make money, and that is what is wrong with California. Instead of just cutting taxes so you can afford diapers and sending it out in this ridiculous bureaucratic scheme.
But let's pull back the curtain on the full empire of waste and connections that defines Newsom's reign. This diaper debacle joins a rap sheet of epic failures. $18 billion and counting poured into the high-speed rail with 0 trains running. Then there's the homeless industrial complex. $37 billion spent under his watch, turning California into the nation's unhoused capital with 0 accountability for where the money vanished as tent cities swell and audits go ignored.
The homeless, they lose $20 billion, but they want more money for it. Well, that's why people get tired of paying taxes and going, well, what are you doing? Gavin Newsom just vetoed a bill asking for an audit of where the money for homeless goes. He said, not a chance.
Add the COVID-era EDD unemployment fraud that bled an estimated $33 billion to scammers, prisoners, and ghosts.
They let out half of the prisoners out of the state of California. They have basically decriminalized most criminal offenses here. They are not serious about crime. So the federal government's stepping in, and when we charge you, you're looking at serious prison time.
Even his former chief of staff has faced fraud charges.
Federal officials have charged former chief of staff to Governor Gavin Newsom, Dana Williamson, with public corruption, fraud, obstruction of justice, and tax crimes. The 23-count indictment accuses Williamson of conspiring to divert nearly $250,000 from a dormant political campaign to an associate's personal use. The indictment also alleges that Williamson filed false tax returns claiming more than $1 million in business deductions for personal expenses, including a private jet and luxury hotel stays.
Newsom's California isn't governance. It's a self-perpetuating machine of connected nonprofits, cronies, and vanishing public funds.
Man, Gavin is an innovator. I swear this state is being run by the mob. Everyone in government is milking taxpayers through these shady NGOs, and nowhere is it more pervasive than Karen Basura's LA, where the homeless organization's raking cash, but the problem continues to fester. Ever wonder why we pour billions of our taxpayer dollars into homelessness, and yet you only see more filth and drug addicts on the streets? Because it's all a scam.
While everyday Californians dodge needles on sidewalks, Newsom is a broken flip-flopping record, doing 180s on everything from reparations to oil production to healthcare for illegals to defunding the police. The pattern is corruption as plain as the sunset over Monterey Bay. John Bound reporting for the Alex Jones Network.
All right, yeah, that's a big report right there, because if you think about what Newsom's doing, it's just like what all these politicians do. They spend your money on crap and to make themselves rich. And he's running out of time. He's I think he leaves office in end of maybe, I think in 27 maybe. He's they're doing primary elections right now for a new governor. So he's running out of time to get his wealth exactly where he needs it. So that's what's going on there. And it's just one more thing. I mean, we're $200 billion in the hole in California. I mean, just to start with. I mean, that enough is, and but of course he says that California is the best it's ever been since he's been here, which is complete ridiculous bullshit, right? We know that. But Gavin Newsom, we will be glad when he's gone. We don't care who we get at this point because he's so horrible. And he's Pelosi's nephew, so they've been in this corrupt California politics forever. So I mean, truth is, what I found out in the last few years is they put who they want in there. We don't have a vote. And the only way that's going to ever change is if we do something about it. And I don't know. I thought we were doing something about it by getting Trump in office, and they were going to clean a lot of things up. And I have heard, and maybe we'll cover it tomorrow, but I have heard that there are some things happening with the voting um, machines and stuff like that that's supposed to be taking effect now. Whether it does or not depends on if Todd Blanche is actually going to do something, or if he's just going to be like everybody else in the White House, which they talk a big game, they don't do nothing. Really, that's why Gabbard left. I'm sure. Uh, you know, she's saying that she's leaving to take care of her husband, but if you think about it, um, she's had a bunch of different things that she's put out there that could be prosecuted right now, like major stuff that can be prosecuted right now, and nobody's doing anything. So she turns it over to Todd Blanche, who's the acting AG, and they just sit on it. The same thing that happened when Bondi was in office. They just sit on it. I mean, I know somebody. I'm going to leave their name out of it that knows legislature really well for the federal government. And there's been these bills like what's it called? Second here, the 2A stuff. Um, like you know, getting people their rights back that lost their rights behind the laws, the way they wrote the laws back in the 70s or 80s, where if you have ever been in trouble, you can't have a firearm because they wrote the laws that way when it's unconstitutional. What is that? Remy? No, it's not. It's Bruin. It's the Bruin decision that it's been 2 years or at least a year and a half. I think the Bruin actually. So it's what month? It's been a year and a half. It happened right after Trump got into office. The Bruin case was seen, heard, and the Supreme Court rejected and that where they were fighting against it, and it was approved for felons with nonviolent felonies to be able to get their rights back, and they've been sitting on it for a year, and it was supposed to happen in 10 months. The first excuse was the government was shut down, and the government was shut down for a few months, and then right after that, Bondi was supposed to put it in because it has like a waiting period, 6 months or something, waiting period before it actually goes to the Supreme Court to get whatever, however, where I'm not a lawyer, I don't know, but and it's just sitting there on somebody's desk, probably underneath a whole bunch of other crap that needs to be signed by these gutless, low life AGs and people in the White House, Harvey Dillon, and all them people. They could be doing stuff for us, but instead they're I don't know, doing whatever they're doing, which I don't even know what they do. I mean, you think that in this administration you would hear about things that they're doing positive every single day, like the first 6 months, but they don't do shit. I don't know. What do they do? I mean, I'd love to hear what they're doing that's positive. I haven't seen much. Let's get into this. Where we at? Yeah. Let's get into this. Oh yeah. I'm going to do this one here. We got this John Bowne report about the senator from Pennsylvania, and he reads he's had like some medical issues, so he reads from he has like this neuroplant in his brain, and so he reads off of a teleprompter, and which triggers his brain so he can talk. He doesn't do, it's like it's loaded into this laptop or this iPad or whatever, and he reads what he's thinking or whatever they're telling him to think. Check this out. This is pretty interesting. It's very interesting when you think about it. But check this out.
Just for clarification, did you mean that the 34 count case in which Donald Trump was found guilty of various financial crimes was politically motivated here in New York?
I found that when the judicial system gets weaponized and targeted political enemies for political gain, I think that's inappropriate, and I think that degrades our collective trust in this a very important institution, whether that's on a Democratic going after a Republican or a Republican going after a Democratic one. And I like to think I call it strikes and balls, because the judicial system has to remain impartial. I mean, that's really the cornerstone of our society.
When Fetterman could talk, and the things he said was completely different than this new Fetterman. Fetterman goes out there now, and all of his talking points are neocon, basically Israeli Likudnik talking points. So I think a PR firm, with whatever's happened to him, when he disappeared for 8-9 months, he's come back, and now he reads exact Mark Levin talking points in live time. So this is a major scandal, folks.
Opinions have become actual real news. And we've lost that really. Like opinions are not news,
right?
And there are so many shirts out there in the world now. Like, why are people still talking about Tucker Carlson? Or any of these people now? Even Alex Jones now is back. I have to see that in my feed anymore. Why? Because if they are criticizing Trump, it's like now sometimes we in the Democrats say, well, maybe they have a point. MTG Crazy Pants. Why are we keep hearing about her now?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, it's like like focusing on real news and the real dynamic there. I'm so tired of if opinions have become news. And now there's countless ones,
Right,
and it's all become slop.
And let me just make the point. This is a this is an entertainment show.
It says real
on an
your title.
It is. Yeah. Because it's a lot more real than that other. Let me tell you.
You have the washed up Dan Crenshaw, who people thought was a conservative until they actually looked at his voting record, voted for the Democrats half the time. You've got zombie Fetterman, and you've got Bill Maher that, it's overall a well-written show, well done. It still has 3 or 4 million viewers. That's still small. You had Johnny Carson with 40 million, back when there were only 200 million people in the country.
People say, you'll never take a serious controversy. Well, I have an answer to that. I said, now, tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, any comedian, use his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that? But why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? It's a danger. It's a real danger. Once you start that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you say has great import. And strangely enough, you could use that show as a forum. You could sway people. And I don't think you should as an entertainer.
You have the Democrat senator and all these other people with the same talking points saying, don't listen to Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and MTG. Listen to us. They're fake news. We're real. Well, what has been fake here? I show you a clip. You decide for yourself. 99% of what we do is just commentary on things that are going on, and I predict of what I think is going to happen, and I'm almost always right. That's what they don't like. There's articles and videos and my own notes about those videos that I'm going to play. That's it. I'm the captain of this ship. Dems accept someone like Alex Jones if they're anti-Trump. Let's be clear. Democrats don't listen to my show. They might watch clips. They don't buy anything from me. But I don't tailor what I say to an audience. I say what I believe is right, and then people that think that has value tune in. You guys tailor what you say off the system and the establishment, so they keep thinking I think like them. No, I'm who I am. I'm like a restaurant owner that's a chef. These are the foods I like. This is the stuff I think is tasty and delicious. This is what I cook, and I have confidence in what we put on our menu, and if you like it, you like it. And guess what? If we're a restaurant, we got lines around the block. These guys don't. Draft politics.
Yeah, so that Fetterman clip is interesting because if you remember when he was oh, jeez, these people, man. When he was running for senator, he did the Joe Biden thing, where he campaigned from the basement. He won the vote, won the against whoever, I can't remember who it was that he was running against, had a brain aneurysm. His wife was running his program for a while, and then as he recovered, that he started seeing him in sweatsuits. Remember, he was always in a sweatsuit. Why? I don't know why he was in a sweatsuit or whatever. I don't know if it was some of the mechanical stuff that he had on him so he could function or whatever. But he literally almost died back then, and now he literally reads off a teleprompter. It's just crazy to me. I'm just saying. What's that called? No, what's it called? Can't think of what it's called now. But anyway. So Gabbard resigns. What do you think about that? What do you think's really going on with Gabbard? Do you think that she sees what's going on in the White House and she's getting away from it so that she has so she don't kill her political career? Because I mean, she's came up with a lot of different things, a lot of different cases that she's broke that are there. I mean, evidence, all whether it's the Russia hoax or Anthony Fauci and all that stuff. I mean, she's broke a bunch of stories, a bunch of stuff, not stories, a bunch of cases that could be prosecuted. Maybe they will be. Maybe, I mean, everything moves in DC very slow. Maybe something's going to happen. But for a while there, she was at the podium every week talking about a new case that she came across, or a bunch of paperwork she found in a desk or whatever. You remember all that? Anyway, let's listen to what they have to say about Gabbard and her resignation. And what do you think? Do you think that she's leaving the ship, or do you think that it's what the White House is saying that they fired her and she quit before they could officially fire her? That's what the talking point is. But what do you think? Stand by.
Exclusive: Tulsi Gabbard resigns from Trump cabinet. Fox News. In the photo caption, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard reflects on the energy Charlie Kirk had and always said she is in awe of Erica Kirk's strength in the face of the toughest times. Then it goes to the article. Tulsi Gabbard is resigning from her post as the Director of National Intelligence to support her husband through his battle with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. An extremely rare form of bone cancer, Fox News Digital learned. Gabbard notified President Trump during a meeting in the Oval Office Friday. Her last day at ODNI is expected to be June 30th. Fox News Digital exclusively obtained her formal resignation letter, in which Gabbard says she is deeply grateful for the trust you placed in me, for the opportunity to lead the Office of the Director of National Intelligence for the last year and a half. And here is her actual letter on screen saying her husband has bone cancer and she's leaving. I'm not denying that's true. She's a lady of great integrity who I admire. But knowing what I know, that she was in that meeting 6 days after Kirk was killed, when Kash Patel said, I don't want you looking into foreign involvement. And now you've got the contractor saying, yeah, they ordered me to destroy the crime scene and pull up all the pavement as fast as possible and cover it up. What was in the pavement? The exploding microphone? Discharged in the ground? Who knows? Why would you do that? The point is that you have Joe Kent that was right under her, the Director of National Counterterrorism, saying there's foreign involvement, we're not allowed to go there. And they've been gunning for Gabbard for a long time. And now she's taken the high road and resigned. And I know the inside baseball on it from previously. I just learned about this in the last 10 minutes. But you had the Israel lobby come to Trump about a month ago and try to get her fired, saying she's about to resign and run against you for office or run against the Republicans and she's a traitor, get rid of her. And then it was pointed out to her by Roger Stone, which was later confirmed by her, and Trump, that he told Trump, he said, she's the only one that gave you the Russiagate stuff. Ratcliffe had her office in your first administration, the Director of National Intelligence, and he didn't give you any of it. And of course, John Bolton had all the information and hid it from you as well. So why are you going after the one lady that's actually done her job? Exposed Crossfire, Hurricane, Arctic Frost, all of it. So Gabbard, I believe, is taking the high road to not be involved in all the infighting, to not support the war, and just get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with Alex right there because there's a lot going on. And when Kent left and they went gunning for her and they were going to fire her, and Roger Stone went in and told Trump that she was the only one that supported her, had supported him with the documents and stuff, and she stayed, and you know, the heat was off of her, and I bet you it's been nonstop bullshit ever since, because the deep state don't want her there, because the deep state is, you know what they're doing. They're constantly working it out so that they can continue to stay in that building and run the show, because, you know, Trump don't run shit. I mean, he might think he does, but we know now, after all of this stuff that's been going on for, I don't know, years now, that the deep state runs the show. And if you don't, they kill you, or, you know, they bury you, or they get you indicted for a bunch of stuff that you didn't do, or, you know, whatever it is that they do, that's how it is. They are running the show. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is to fix that. Well, I mean, I know what the answer is. We're not going to talk about that on this show, but the answer is, you know, something extreme, I'm sure, because what do you do? Like, it continues to happen. They continue to expose things that are corrupt within that building and all around, and nothing happens. And anytime anybody that has any kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Anybody with any juice, or anybody that's got a platform or anything like that, comes out and says something, they take them out. Look what they did to Alex Jones. Look what they did to MTG. Look what they just did to Massie. And when I get to that, you're going to be shocked. That you're going to get. It's going to be a shocking moment for you when you see what they did. And I mean, maybe not. Maybe you already know. Maybe you realize that you can't vote your way out of this. Voting don't work no more. It just doesn't work. You can vote in every election, and the same thing always happens. They put who they want in, period. That's it. And Massie had a safe seat. He'd been there for 14 years. He was doing, his constituents loved him. He was the most popular congressman in Congress. Really was. I mean, he's always been. He's a constitutionalist. Believes in he believes in America, and they got rid of him. And how they did it was they paid so much money. It's just like what the hell's his name? Zuckerberg. $400 million to do drop boxes and illegal ballots. 2020. Remember that? I haven't forgot that. Have you? Apparently Trump has forgot about all that stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. He should be dealing with that. And there is talk about it. There is some talk about that they are dealing with the stuff that happened in 2020. And I'm shocked that Trump actually went after Massie like that and got him out of office. And that means that what that really means is this: Trump had something to do with Massie being removed from office. And that is a crime. Allegedly. That's a crime. Because if Marion Adelson spent $50 million on, it was the most expensive House primary in the history of the United States. Check that out. It's the most expensive one in the history of the United States. Let that sink in. A House seat in Kentucky. But because he was going after the Epstein files and he was going after the corruption, and when he seen a bill that had a bunch of pork in it, he wouldn't vote for it until they took all the garbage out of it. And once they took the garbage out of it, then he'd vote for it. And let them tell you the story. He voted with the Democrats all the time and all this stuff, and that's just not true. I mean, you can look at his record, and his record was he wanted clean bills. And that's what MTG wanted. She wanted clean bills. That's what the hell is Matt Gaetz wanted. They wanted clean bills. But see, they got rid of all them. That's what they do. If you don't get in line with what we're doing here, what they're doing, then you're out of here. Just the way it goes. Everybody that's ever been in office, and if you play to pay, or if you play, how's it go? You pay to play to pay, whatever, however that goes. As long as you're taking the money, as long as you're on the take, your seat's fine. I mean, you want to go through, look at Lindsey Graham, Pelosi. I mean, we haven't seen much from Pelosi in a while. Still in office. She'll, we don't never hear nothing from her since she turned over her seat or her speakership, but she's still there. Adam Schiff, Schumer, I mean, all those people, they all take Chinese money, so they keep them. They're supposed to be, China's supposed to be our enemy, but they're all taking money from China. It's just, the whole thing is so corrupt. It's so hard to talk about it over and over because nothing ever changes. It's the same bullshit over and over and over. It just keeps happening. So anyway, so while we're talking about this, do you know what the hell's his name? Oh yeah, Kevin Warsh, globalist, Israel firster, just got assigned to what is it? The finances, shit, why can't I think of what it's called? I should have wrote it down. I should be doing better notes. Let's do this. We'll be right back. But watch what he's doing. Do you know what the upside down triangle means? Stand by.
He's like Central Casting, Scott Bessent. If we do a movie on someday, we're going to need a Secretary of the Treasury. We're starring him. I think we'll put him in there, right? He's done a good job. Starting today, we're so lucky to have him. The Federal Reserve is a pillar of the world financial system and the most important central bank anywhere in the world, with a history stretching back more than 100 years. It is truly the institution that's most looked to and most respected, and it's now taken on a new and even higher respect, in my opinion. And honestly, I really mean this. This is not said in any other way. I want Kevin to be totally independent. I want him to be independent and just do a great job. Don't look at me. Don't look at anybody. Just do your own thing and do it. Honestly, I really mean this. This is not said in any other way. I want Kevin to be totally independent. I want him to be independent and just do a great job. Don't look at me. Don't look at anybody. Just do your own thing and do a great job. Okay? Really amazing, but we can bring it to a new and higher level with Kevin. I think we can bring it to a level that nobody ever thought possible. By following through on this vision, Kevin will restore confidence in the Fed, which is so important and among Americans all across the political spectrum and people from all over the world. And they're going to be looking to Kevin. Great job. Okay. Unfortunately, in the eyes of many, the Fed lost its way in recent years. It became distracted by concerns far removed from its core mission and mandate, drifting into matters such as climate policy and DEI initiatives, with the Fed straying from its mandate. While the last administration blew out the deficit, Americans suffered the worst inflation that we had in history. It was the worst inflation we've ever had. As you know, there's some people say you're wrong about that. It was only in 48 years, but I think 48 years almost sounds worse. The worst inflation we've ever had, so it made it very difficult. Chairs before him, Kevin will safeguard the Fed's integrity. They'll make their own decisions and hopefully make them well, but they'll be listening to Kevin all the way. I really believe that. Even if they're from a somewhat different persuasion, they're going to be listening to him out of respect, because everybody respects him. Thankfully, unlike some of his predecessors, Kevin understands that when the economy is booming, that's a good thing. We don't have to go crazy. Just let it boom. We want it to boom. We want it to be like nobody has ever had before, because we do have some debt we'd like to take care of. And the way you do that is through growth. We're going to grow our way out of it so fast. And Kevin's somebody, and I feel strongly also, we don't want to see it stifled. We want to stop inflation, but we don't want to stop greatness. And so that's really a very good thing, a very positive thing. And that's what he's looking to do. He's looking to do positive economic growth. It's so important. And as we discussed, economic growth doesn't mean inflation. It can be just the opposite, actually. But economic growth does not mean inflation. You're really steady-handed, probably, maybe in many ways, the most. I don't know. I have two great justices of the Supreme Court here, so I have to say, I don't know which is more important, being a justice of the Supreme Court or your job. I'm not sure about that. Swear in, give him a good oath if you would, care, because Clarence, we need a really good oath delivered here. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
I do solemnly swear
I, Kevin Warsh, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
the duties on the office upon which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole lot to that clip right there. I'm not sure with all the insider trading allegedly that's going on in the White House. I don't know what's going on. I've heard nothing but bad things about this Kevin Walsh, whatever. I haven't heard anything good about him. But I mean, you know, they're all the same thing of each side of a coin, right? They're the same. I mean, I mean, who did he used to work for? Let's look that up. Let's see who. Hold on a second. We're going to do this in real time right here, real quick here. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Who did he work for? Let's see. We're looking. Hold on. Morgan Stanley. Well, now he is the Federal Reserve Board. So, or the Federal Reserve. He's the director of the Federal Reserve, which is basically a private entity that has our money that we don't own. We don't, our money that we're $39 trillion in the hole on, right? But I was attempting to figure out from Stanford, Harvard Law School, Morgan Stanley. I thought there was something that they were talking about. Can't remember what it is, but I heard something about him. I don't know if it was well, and you know, the internet, you can't believe anything you hear on the damn internet anyway, but you know, people always give me shit when I do this right here when I start looking for stuff that I get these you know, they're probably just trolls or whatever, but they always talk shit about me when I'm doing stuff like this. But I'm really interested in who we have as our Fed chair. You know what I mean? And you should be concerned about it too. But we just put any old dipshit in there, and you know it continues to be the same thing. But my question is, if how you spell it? Warsh, Kevin Warsh is our Fed chair, succeeded Jerome Powell, who was another wonderful human being, right? What does that mean for the Fed? And because, you know, like when you look at some of the people that are in the White House right now, like Letnick, prime example, insider trading, they're doing all this stuff in there. And I don't know if Trump knows that it's happening. I mean, he's not that stupid. And, you know, you got the Trump kids, they're, you know, doing, I know they're adults, but, you know, Trump's kids, the Bitcoin stuff and, you know, all these different things that they're doing to, as far as I can tell, the insider trading is through the roof right now, what they're doing. And maybe it's legit. Maybe you're allowed to do that. I know Trump's not allowed to have anything to do with any of his companies while he is the president, but I guess that doesn't, I guess if his kids are doing it, that's okay. I mean, I guess technically, but they've made billions and billions of dollars since Trump's been in office a little over a year. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, is that okay? What do you think? I mean, you know. I was reading this New York Times article about Gabbard. Anyway, so we're gonna keep going here. I find this stuff intriguing because they put these globalists in office or these Democrats in office when we're supposed to be a conservative movement, like what Burchett was talking about earlier today or yesterday, whatever it was, where he's talking about they're making side deals with the Democrats to run our government while we're in charge. It's just, what is going on here? I mean, it's just nonstop, just I know that they talk shit to each other on the podium and then go to dinner with each other and, you know, and laugh and cut it up and drink and do all that stuff and probably have sex with each other's boyfriends and wives and stuff. I mean, I'm sure. But, like, can we get back to business here to where we're making America something that is worth having for our children? Because that's all I give a shit about. I don't care about none of this other stuff. I want to get rid of pedophiles. I want to get rid of the insider trading, and I want to make sure that we get rid of these data centers and bullshit. All this AI crap that's gonna cause my son to be my sons to not be able to live life to its fullest. Like I had a pretty decent life for the most part as a kid. These kids nowadays, they're done for with this AI stuff going on. So I'm just like, who is this Walsh dude, and why was it him and not someone like what's his name? Peter the hell's his name? See, my brain is fried. I'll tell you in a minute. I got to remember what the hell's his name. He's in the cabinet right now. He's one of Trump's advisors, not Lutnick, but another one. What is his name? Oh yeah, Peter Navarro. Why couldn't it have been somebody like Peter Navarro, somebody that's as far as I can tell, Peter Navarro is one of those people that you could trust. But I mean, they put all these other people in there. I thought Scott Bassett was good until I found out all the dirt on him, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why do we have all this corruption? All the financial stuff that's going on is all corruption. It's like, come on, man. Can we get back to something like that is not corrupt? Nope, not a chance. Everybody in the cabinet has got dirt on them, or they're Democrats, or they're horrible. Hold on. Let's get into this AI stuff. Hold on a second.
What's the message to American families who are scared by the rise of AI? They're worried that their kids are not going to be able to have jobs someday because AI will
I'll tell you, AI has been amazing because right now we have more jobs, more people working right now in the United States by far than we ever had before. And outside of the war, and I assumed the economy was going to go down, the stock market would go down 25%. It's actually up.
He was supporting legislation that was bipartisan, but mainly Republican-backed, that would give literal liability protection from state, local, and individual, and most of the federal government, other than the executive branch, to a whole list of top AI companies. And the legislation would create a board of tech heads who would have the liability protection, but none of their competition would. And Trump's now created a board and it has 9 people on it. Now, that legislation got shot down. He brought it back up last year when he got in office. It failed again. So he signed an executive order and set up the commission. Notice Elon Musk is not on it. Ensuring a national policy framework for artificial intelligence.
It seems to be, with Trump going into Iran, no matter who you vote for, you do seem to get a lot of the same foreign and economic policy in my country. You do seem to get military intervention abroad, and then kind of the tech and the financial sector dominating the domestic political agenda, no matter who's in there. And that's why all these tech CEOs are clustered around him in China. These are the same people that were with Biden and Harris, and censoring their websites to limit conservative speech when they were in. So they obviously view themselves as the actual government, and whoever the president is like a guy giving them a tour.
They might be half right.
I think they're more than half.
How much are you spending, would you say, over the next few years?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I think it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, at least $600 billion through 28 in the U.S. Yeah.
It's a lot.
No, it's significant.
That's a lot.
Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. All right, I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, that's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm's going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times.
Just by these corporations and their operations with anything they say is AI, that means anything computers, being above the law, that creates a oligopoly of action, an eminent domain and total control, and they can toxic waste, steal water. They've already been caught doing it.
Data centers continue to use public water supplies without authorization. In Georgia, a data center campus consumed nearly 30 million gallons of water without initial payment, while local residents' taps run dry.
And then they are above the law and allowed to have all the energy they want from fossil fuels, but still they're going to have a lot of the green regulations on the general public, though Trump's backed off some of that.
So-called technology transition rule, which was crazy, forced companies to adopt specific high-cost refrigerants, massively driving up the price of transporting and storing refrigerants and various goods. Today's reforms will deliver significant financial relief.
Us eating beef is bad. Us having a car is bad. You having a space heater is bad. All these jurisdictions banning fireplaces and barbecue pits. That's all bad, even though that's part of the atmosphere and good for the earth. Methane's good. It's what holds the atmosphere in. We've always had mammals going around and other creatures passing gas. But now we got to shove tubes up the cows' butts in Canada and Europe, capture the methane and pump it into a mine shaft because it's deadly. But AI companies, they can do whatever they want. So when I was the first to say, almost 2 years ago when he's president-elect, I said, this establishes an AI dictatorship. I still support President Trump. People got really mad at me. They said, oh, come on, don't use a term like that. I read the damn legislation. I want to thank the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so what do you think? Do you want data centers and AI controlling you and tracking you? I mean, they already are. I mean, they have cars that just shut off on you if you know, I mean, all the things that are going on with this data and AI and all these tech giants doing all this stuff, they are really going to take, I mean, they already have. We're not going to be able to get away from it, but how can we, you know, I mean, the only thing I think of is, you know, being on the top of a mountain somewhere where you're not being tracked by everything you do and your phone's in a Faraday sleeve. I mean, you know, because everything you do, say right now, every word that we speak on this microphone right now is being tracked by somebody somewhere that's taking the information and storing it and going to use it against you later. That's why you have to be so careful about what you say. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I'd love to say, but I can't say because if I do, then I'll be the next one on the hit list. Let's look at this. So it was, and I don't know if this is exactly related, but when I got my channel, my X back, my Twitter, right? When they gave all of us our platforms back, you know, years ago, I was gaining people, gaining traction, like subscribers or whatever, pretty fast. I was getting lots of impressions and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, it just stopped. And I'm not even kidding. I mean, it doesn't matter how much I push the algorithm to get people to join the channel on X, I don't move. And it's because they got me shadow banned. And so what do you do with that? So if you say the wrong thing, they shadow ban you, or they put you on a list of the people to, watch or go after or do whatever, or muffle your voice or whatever the thing is that the big tech does. It's like, it doesn't matter what you do. If they don't want you to say something, they will make sure it doesn't get out. It's just the way it is. And how do you get around that? There's no way to get around it, because it's big money, it's big pharma, it's big media, and it's all these conglomerates of people, or these organizations that, look what they did with TikTok. Now TikTok's owned by Israel. I mean, it's like, if they don't want you to talk, I mean, TikTok sucks anyway, because anytime I post anything on TikTok, I get flagged or taken down. I've had a bunch of different accounts. I don't even, every now and then I'll take a show and I'll find some stuff that's semi clean and post it on there. And, but they monitor it so much, and the guidelines, all that bullshit all the time. Unless you're, talking like a Democrat or whatever, they just throttle you. They throttle me on all these channels. The only one that's been pretty good has been Getter. I mean, Rumble is okay. I mean, it's okay. It's not like it used to be. Like when Rumble first came out, I shot up. I was doing really good. A lot of subscribers, a lot of that, this and that. And then all of a sudden, it seems like I'm not getting, people aren't seeing my stuff, got, all the different things to get that. I'm on a jag right now. But my point is, it's not just the cameras on every street corner and every building. And if you have a camera on the front of your house, maybe you have, cameras, maybe you got a Ring or a couple different Ring cameras or whatever. They monitor your camera through their data center. You heard what he said. We're going to keep our eye on everybody. Period. That's how it's going to be. Everybody is going to be tracked. Every movement that happens, we're going to know what it is, and we're going to do it through AI. Is that okay? That completely takes away our First Amendment, completely Fourth Amendment. There's a bunch of other amendments along the way too. But let's look what they're doing to do this data centers. This is what they've done. If you have a property where they want to put a telephone, like a data pole, for optic data lines. If you have property and they don't want you, or they want your property, they make you buy it. They're like, oh no, it has to go right here, right through your pool. So we're going to take half your backyard, or, we're going to take half your farm, or we're going to do, and we're going to give you, 10 cents on the dollar for it. We're not going to give you a market value, but you don't have a choice because this is where it goes. Not, you got to go around my property because I don't want to sell it to you. They take it from you. Check this out. I am not even kidding. I got two of these. We're going to play them. I'll do them both back to back. Stand by.
2, 1, action.
Hey you guys, it's Ansley from Coweta County. Today I left Coweta County and came down here to Fayetteville to meet with some people. This is Rachel. Her home is being affected by this same project that is taking my mom's entire home. Tell us about it, Rachel.
All right, well, this is my backyard. Here's the forest area. We've got a 2-acre property. They're going to be taking a full 1/3 of the property. So all of these trees will be gone. And that's everybody on our street. It's not just us. It's everybody on the street has 2 acres. They're taking a third. This is not a rich area. Our neighbors next door just got a job at Walmart to save 10% on his groceries. Our other neighbors on the other side just asked us to help them set up their cell phone. They're not really online, and I feel like they are being taken advantage of. I want you guys to hear what's happening. They have offered us an amount for our home that will not be enough to cover the damages to the property values. After they come and build this line, we're going to be so underwater on our mortgage. We moved down here. He said, that's horrible. We moved down here from an apartment in Buckhead because we wanted to be in a space where we could have chickens and a garden and space, and we had no idea this was coming. And we feel like we tried to buy a home that we could afford, that was old. We fixed it up. We put so much work in, and I don't know how we're gonna replicate this. Like, the numbers they're offering are not enough to stop from financially ruining our family, basically. And we don't think this is a safe place for us to live with our little kids anymore. We have daughters age 3 and 18 months. This is going to be an active construction zone back here for the next 2 years or so. They're going to have to drill 40 feet down into the granite. This pole is going to be 8 feet wide, almost 200 feet tall, 500 kilovolts of electricity. Like, this is not your average power line. This is crazy. It seems really dangerous to me. The only studies on EMFs that have really any kind of consensus are the ones on rates of childhood leukemia in little kids, and we have little kids. I don't know what we're gonna do. And I'm so thankful to Ansley for coming out here and telling people stories. It has felt like nobody cares. Nobody's gonna do anything, and we don't have any options. I have reached out to everybody in the government, and they either don't respond or they just tell me they had nothing to do with it and they can't help. And I think that it's crazy that we have to go on the internet to ask strangers to care. But if you care, I'm really thankful. I'm thankful this is happening. And anyway, that's it. Thanks, Ansley.
You got me crying. You guys, this is an emotional process for everybody that this affects. All 330 properties here, you guys, this affects. Look at how close this is going to run to her house, y'all. Her garden, her chickens, everything is going to be affected by this. Her property value, all of her neighbors. This is 15 homes in a line that this affects. We have to put an end to this, and we can no longer let them do this to our American families, our American farmers, and our American mothers. Come with me to put an end to Project Wansley. Hey, you guys, it's Ansley Brown on the fight to save my mom's house from eminent domain. Here I am today with another mother and a homeowner who this is affecting. What is it taking from her? Look behind me. It's taking this entire backyard, the pool and everything. Tell us about it.
Hi, my name is Cynthia, and I am just one of many homeowners who are impacted by Georgia Power's high voltage power lines that are going in to support data centers that are being built all over. We were informed that they were going to come in and take more than half of our property. They are going to demo all of these fire pits, the pool, the spa, all of this, including our 2 neighbors' houses. They're completely demoing theirs. This easement is only going to be 12 feet from our house, 12 feet from our bedroom where we sleep. Now, they did say that they would take the entire house, that they would purchase the entire house. However, that purchase is based off of their own appraised value of the house, which is significantly less than our appraised value for the house, our own private appraisal. So it's not also sufficient enough to replace what we have. We have been told many times by them that they don't have to buy the house. They can only buy the easement, which would just decimate everything, every single thing, the pool, all of this, everything that we have spent 17 years building. It would be a financial devastation because we would never be able to rebuild this, especially at our age. And this is the only home our daughters have ever known. Georgia Power is owned by the Southern Company. The Southern Company is a $105 billion market capital company. They are bigger and just as big as the 4 combined capital markets of the 4 major airlines in the United States. Delta, United, American, and Southwest combine their market capitalization, and that equals the Southern Company, who owns Georgia Power. These data equate to $13 trillion in market capitalization. To put that in perspective, you take all the GDPs in the world, and there's only 2 that beat that, and that's the United States and China. Georgia Power is expecting all of the tax citizens and the landowners here to subsidize their project, to subsidize these data centers. And enough is enough.
Thank you. That was amazing. You guys out here, this is happening, like I said, to 330 properties. There are 21 homes that are being affected by this in Coweta County, Georgia. Not only does Georgia Power not care about our American farmers, they also don't care about our American mothers. This is happening to my mother. This is happening to Cynthia. Wouldn't your grandkids love to have this backyard? Because it's being taken. And on to the point of the easement being only 12 feet from her house, I hope you guys realize that means when she is sleeping in her bedroom, Georgia Power can pull a truck 12 feet from that window and be right there. So what are we going to do, you guys? Are we going to let them take it? Absolutely not. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep sharing these homeowners' stories. Come and follow me. Thank you, Cynthia, so much. Thank you, guys. Keep fighting.
It's horrible. This is what they're doing for these data centers. They're just taking people's properties. Just taking them. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you'd think that there'd be some kind of law that says that they can't do that. Like they can't have the property if it is owned by somebody. You would think, but it's horrible, man. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. Anyway, let's listen to what. Where will AI be in 1, 2, and 3 years?
Let me just, share a few thoughts with you on this. Number one is, in the last few months, there has been a step change function in the productivity of the AI toolkit. It is profoundly more powerful than it was just 9 months ago. And for us at Citadel, that has allowed us to unleash a much broader array of use cases for AI. And it has been really interesting to watch, to be blunt, work that we would usually do with people with masters and PhDs in finance over the course of weeks or months being done by AI agents over the course of hours or days. So these are not mid-tier white collar jobs. These are like extraordinarily high skilled jobs being, I'm going to pick a word, being automated by agentic AI. And I got to tell you, I went home one Friday actually fairly depressed by this, because you could just see how this was going to have such a dramatic impact on society. And when you witness it in your own four walls, when you see work that used to be man years of work being done in days or weeks, it's like, wow, like that's the first time I've seen real impact in our four walls.
This is part of the terraforming operation. They're going to turn much of America into arid or even desert regions that are very suitable for data centers. We are one generation away from the breadbasket farms in the middle of America, from Texas on up north. The breadbasket farms will be largely wiped out. Not Nebraska. Nebraska actually is doing better than the other states, but the southern part of the aquifer will be wiped out in one generation. So that means the farmers farming today that are handing it off to their kids, those kids will be the last farmers to be able to farm that land. I did a deep dive over the last couple of days into the water resources, the Ogallala water aquifer, underneath Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of Colorado, etc. That water aquifer has a timeline. The timeline is going to put almost all farming in North Texas and parts of West Texas under the aquifer out of business within about 10 to 15 years. And much the same thing is true in parts of Kansas as well. There's a Central Valley aquifer in California, produces a tremendous amount of our food. That's running dry, and the recharge time is thousands of years.
And,
So
and as you
simply
said,
recharge
just
it.
like they're building giant factories all over the U.S. to suck carbon dioxide out, the data centers just at one base level will use more than all the farmers in North Texas. They are literally designed to kill us.
Yeah, well, the data center water draw is currently very small compared to agriculture, but it's going to become massive. It will become hundreds of billions of gallons a year.
That's what I was
by,
saying.
think,
Projected, it
2030
becomes
yes,
bigger than farming.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And the farms will be closed. And Alex, we are one generation away from the breadbasket farms in the middle of America, from Texas on up north. The breadbasket farms will be largely wiped out. Not Nebraska. Nebraska actually is doing better than the other states, but the southern part of the aquifer will be wiped out in one generation. So that means the farmers farming today that are handing it off to their kids, those kids will be the last farmers to be able to farm that land.
And you have the
Which
UN
means there's no more
officially
food.
in Sri Lanka, Netherlands, were banned the farming, England paying to not plant crops. They had, remember, John Kerry said 2 years ago, we got to cut half the food production or people will starve.
Yeah, exactly. There's an infographic I sent over. So they're draining your town's water. The data centers are making this a lot worse. And at the same time, then the lockdowns on fertilizer production because of the war, because of the limits on natural gas, et cetera, are doubling and tripling the worsening of the food shortages that's going to happen here. Basically, they're making middle America largely uninhabitable without imports of food and energy. So this is part of the terraforming operation. They're going to turn much of America into arid or even desert regions that are very suitable for data centers with solar panels and AI systems and a lot of sunlight capture. Rain levels will.
And that's
continue
why
to
Bill
fall.
Gates, you said this 3 years ago, you said it was, I don't even remember this, you said it's for data centers. And now Bill Gates admits, it's not for farming, it's for data centers.
Yeah. And remember, there's a new program now. They're going to pollute the skies. They're going to dim the sun. And I think it's called the Stardust, right? That's the new project that they're gaining a lot of funding to launch that. That is going to shut down photosynthesis. So, of course, sunlight is necessary for crops to grow. Everybody knows that, but so is CO2. So it's the light together with the CO2 that creates photosynthesis with water from the ground. That's what creates crops. That's what creates rainforests. That's what creates plants for pollinators, for the honeybees, et cetera.
They're collapsing the globe's
sky,
ecosystem. They're collapsing the global ecosystem.
And they're turning Earth. This has always been the goal of the climate cultists, Alex, is to turn Earth into basically the ice planet Hoth from The Empire Strikes Back, because they want it to be a frozen, dead ice ball. That's what would happen if you remove CO2 from the atmosphere. So every time they talk about decarbonization of the Earth, they're first talking about turning Earth into a frozen ice ball where ocean water levels are very, very low because there's so much frozen water, right? And then the decarbonization is the humans, because we are the carbon. And it's very easy to kill off billions of human beings if you're an evil globalist and you cut off the supply of food, fertilizer, energy, and sunlight. That's the goal. It's terraforming. It's terraforming.
We aren't funded by foreign governments. We're funded by you, and I sell you great products.
Yeah, that terraforming and the AI, all the AI stuff it went from barely being talked about to all of a sudden just wham, man. It's all that they're talking about. And so what it reminds me of when I'm thinking about it is all the different all the big major things that are going on simultaneously at the same time. You got the ballroom that that Trump's talking about, they're building right now, 6 floors down, 6 floors up. You know, they have all this data. They're going to do data mining in there. They have a whole bunch of stuff that they're building in this ballroom. They're not exactly telling us about it, but we have a little bit of information that we've collected around it. So we'll cover it. But one of the things that people don't realize is that they're already doing the surveillance. We talked about this already, but they're doing surveillance. That's like just the bottom of the rung. There's so many other things that they're doing with this. It will shock you if you do the research, and don't take my word for it. Investigate it yourself and you'll see what they're doing. They're going to take all of the crops, all the farming away. They've been doing this for years, all over the UK, all over everywhere. Remember when the farmers in France, or I think it was it might have been either France or Ireland, where when they had that big protest where they were tearing up the roads so you couldn't get in and all that stuff. They're doing this thing where they weren't talking about data centers then. They weren't talking about this, but now they're all talking about this. So now it's starting to show up why they were doing the things that they were doing. The cows, the chickens, remember we couldn't get eggs. Talking about you can't have a farm unless you have to pay taxes on your farm, or you can't grow your own food and all these things. This was happening a couple years ago. And so their squeeze is to put data mining centers. That's what they are. They're data mining centers. They're using it for all the stuff that goes with data, with the data mining thing, or the data centers, crypto and surveillance and taking away everybody that does. If you have a job that is a basic, maybe you have a basic office job, maybe you engineers gone. I mean, receptionists gone. All those people are going to be taken over because the AI model is going to take over and put everybody out of a job, all of them. If you're not like a somebody that's a programmer of the models, you're going to be jobless unless you have a job that can't be done by AI. You're going to lose your job. And it's within the next few years. They Mike was talking about, it was that this is not a 10 years from now plan. This is happening in the next few years. People are going to start losing their jobs, and they're going to be taken over by robots and the AI model. And they're using the data centers to man it, or to operate it. And they're going to charge you, the American citizen, or the citizen of whatever country you're in, wherever you're at, to pay for it, because they're going to your energy, all the different energies, your water, your gas, your electrical, all that stuff. The price is going to go up to operate basic necessities. All your energy costs are going to go up because it takes so much more energy to run these centers, these data centers. It takes so much more to operate them. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to be told that you can only use a certain amount of water. They've already, remember, they programmed that the last 5 years, 10 years in California, places like that, where you're, oh, we're in a drought, right? There's a fucking ocean right there, but we're in a drought, right? And that's what they kept saying, that you can only water your lawns on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or blah blah blah, all this stuff. This is all pre-programming to get you to realize, to get you to a place to where you don't use your energy. Oh, you have to turn your thermostat to 78 at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock because you can't, because if you use more energy than you're supposed to, that's why they charge you double from 5 to 8 at night. You know, when everybody gets home from work, your energy cost is double. I don't know if you know this or not. They call it peak hours. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to tell you that you can only use a certain amount of kilowatts per day, and if you go over, then they will fine you, or they will charge you triple, quadruple, whatever like that. And they're so they can push all the energy to these data centers. And now I know that I don't know if it was Trump or somebody said they have to come up with their own energy for it, but you know, they say one thing and do another. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I vaguely remember them talking about if they're going to operate these data centers that they have to have their own energy through solar or whatever like that, but you can't get enough energy through solar. It's impossible. I mean, you know, think about when there's no sun out. You can't you can't charge panels to charge your generators for your batteries to have energy when the sun's not out, right? A lot going on with this. This is the biggest one. This is the one. And it makes me wonder, my little conspiracy around this is it possible that the reason why they're pushing all these other things out there in front of you so you don't see, the aliens or the UAPs or all these different things that they're putting in front of the Iran war, all this stuff that they're using to keep you distracted over here while they're doing this data mining stuff, because ultimately they want to take your freedom. Surveillance, take your job, you're going to get a government check, you're going to have nothing, you're going to be happy. It's the whole globalist plan. It's always been. Trump came out last month or 2 months ago talking about the new world order, right? So, like, this is not hyperbolic. This is really a thing that's really going on, and we're not going to stop until everyone knows exactly what they're doing, because the truth is they don't give a shit about you. They don't care if you can't feed your family. They don't care if you have no fuel in your car so you can get to work. They're going to take your job anyway. So, yeah, check out this Bound report about these data centers. If I can find my cursor here. Check this out.
There is a fear in your generation that the future has already been written, that the machines are coming, that the jobs are evaporating, that the climate is breaking, that politics is fractured, and that you are inheriting a mess that you did not create. The question is not whether AI will shape the world. It will. The question is whether you will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know. We do not know the precise contours of what this transformation will look like. But what we do know is it will require each of us to adapt in ways that we cannot yet anticipate.
The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. What happened? Okay, I struck a chord.
Data centers are devouring American homes in a brazen land grab fueled by the technocracy's AI boom, and everyday families are paying the ultimate price.
Imagine you work for a $2 billion company and you roll up to work one morning and you find out that your 401k contribution will no longer be matched by the company because they are interested in putting that measly amount for their employees, that little itty bit for a $2 billion company, into AI research, AI processes in the name of efficiency. And then you read what your company's spokespeople say and they go,
This is actually a positive signal in the labor market. This is good. This is an investment back in our people for their long-term future.
Across the United States, utility giants and big tech allies are wielding eminent domain like a club, bulldozing generational properties under the guise of progress and energy needs. Sold as innovation, now revealing itself as a ruthless corporate takeover, where your backyard, your farm, or your childhood home becomes collateral damage for server farms that guzzle power like there's no tomorrow. This assault is hitting hard in states like Georgia, where Georgia Power is targeting families in Coweta County to clear paths for massive transmission lines supporting a $17 billion data center project in neighboring Fayette County.
Although nobody in this town wants a damn data center, our commissioners still approved it. So therefore, Georgia Power is using easement rights to force homeowners, longtime homeowners, old homeowners, into selling their family properties and their family homes so they can be torn down and power lines be extended to support these data centers.
Similar nightmares are unfolding in Pennsylvania, where rural families like Brenda Rizzo's 101-acre farm stare down 240-foot towers for AI data centers. Nationwide, the scale is staggering. Nearly 3,000 new data centers under construction or proposed, piling onto thousands already operating, with rural America bearing the brunt.
Construction is either in final planning or even in progress in a ton of not so remote areas. Forget the ones that are already built already. There's thousands of them all over the country, but you have Phoenix, Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, that's becoming like one of the biggest major hubs with dozens more planned. Columbus, Ohio, Reno, Nevada, Quincy, Washington, El Paso, Texas, Santa Teresa, New Mexico, Imperial County, California, Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, Kansas City, Missouri, and one of the biggest ones, Salt Lake City. They want to build one there that is twice the size of Manhattan. Now, despite residents vehemently opposing this, like they went to the town hall meeting and they were like, no. Everybody was like, no. Somehow, it was unanimously approved by the Box Elder County Commission.
For hell's sake, grow up.
These hyperscale behemoths demand insane portions of electricity and land. Wake up, America. Your deed means nothing when the New World Order grid demands it. John Bound reporting for the Alex Jones Network.
Yep, there you have it. Data centers are going to take over. And what you're going to be left with is wishing that we did something about it when there was time to do something about it. Evacuation in California over chemical emergency. On Friday, the situation in the city about 30 miles south of Los Angeles had grown more dire, with officials warning that though there were no active gas leaks or plumes, the tank was actively in crisis and unable to be secured. There you go. That's a good one. That's a good headline, huh? I was just looking at some headlines right now. There's more to this story than what meets the eye, and that's the point that I'm trying to get to. Everybody, is it's more than just surveillance or AI data centers for to store information. Okay, or to run your internet, or to run your memes, or whatever videos, or what. It's way bigger than that. Look, that's minor. What they're doing is they want to completely take away all your freedoms through this. And they're going to start with the food and they're going to end with your job. And they don't give a shit. They do not care. You see what they're doing to those people in those homes. They just, we're taking this property because we want billions more. We want billions more dollars. And so your meager assets don't mean nothing to us. We're going to give you, 10 cents on the dollar for your property, and that's that. And you either take it or we'll just take it from you because we don't have to buy it. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking wild. Anyway, we'll stay on this. We're going to continue to look into this, and I have some reports that were sent to me about this, because there's the data centers, and then there's the fuel. What are they called? My brain's a little slow tonight. I'm catching up though. The oil refinery, big major thing that's going on. They keep blowing up. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but that's also going on. And these chemical plants are also, for some reason, blowing up for no apparent reason. And I don't know if it has to do with what we've been talking about for years or not, about the threats, but we'll see. We're going to stay on it. We're going to continue to do this. We want to talk about Massie for a minute. This probably is not going to shock my audience, but if you're new here and you don't know, some of this information is going to be shocking to you. And just like we always do, we're going to give you the information. You make your own decision on what you want to believe. But I believe that Massie's election was absolutely stolen from him through mail-in ballots and all that, ballot corruption, all that stuff. And I'm going to show you a little bit in a little bit. I'm going to show you, but first we're going to show you this report from John Bound, and we're going to get into what we know right now about what happened with Massie and this Gowron dude and how that went down. I mean, Massie had more support than he ever did, and he lost. So it tells you everything. It tells you tells you everything you need to know. But stand by.
Mr. Speaker, I came here to make sure our republic doesn't die by unanimous consent in an empty chamber, and I request a recorded vote.
Something rotten exploded in my old Kentucky home's 4th district, and the stench of foreign cash and rigged turnout proves Thomas Massie didn't lose. He was the subject of a foreign hostile takeover.
And this is an amazing fight because he's got $0 from AIPAC, and his opponent, who refuses to debate him or literally show up on the campaign trail, has gotten $9 billion from AIPAC and much more from that group. And the question is, can oligarchs buy an election with lies and no candidate?
He was a DEI coach to corporations to help them understand how to implement gender neutral language, using their pronouns, how to better have a gender fluid conversation style, how to make sure that they change their boards of directors. That's where he's been for the last 5 years. So tell me about your dairy farmer boy from Kentucky. I got nothing for it.
The constitutionalist with a 99% Freedom Index score who co-sponsored the Epstein Files Transparency Act, grilled the DOJ on blackmail networks, and dared say no to blank check Israel aid, saw his raw votes jump 19% with younger Americans flooding to him.
And we know why young people and middle-aged people are against the next war, because we'd be the ones fighting it. They're trying to bring back the draft. Screw that. We're not going to fight. We're not going to fight some other country's wars, are we? No.
Yet, low-profile basement-dwelling debate MIA Navy SEAL Ed Gowron magically surged ahead by 10,280 votes, almost exactly matching his 10,854 mail-in haul. Turnout actually doubled from 2024 in this sleepy off-year primary. Opposition votes exploded 357%. The energy and crowd difference between the Massie concession and Gowrain's acceptance was miles apart. This was the 2020 mail-in playbook reloaded. Outraged Americans have followed the money straight to the culprits, Miriam Adelson and two other Jewish billionaires backed by AIPAC's dark money machine that dumped tens of millions into Gowrain's war chest, making this the most expensive House primary in U.S. history to purge Massie for exposing their game. Israel outlets openly called it the most consequential Republican primary for Israel. Trump sent Pete Hegseth to campaign against him, another first for the United States.
President Trump does not need more people in Washington who are trying to make a point, especially from his own party. He needs people willing to help him win, to vote with him when it matters the most.
America first. Thomas Massie becomes the face of that politically.
This civil war in the party has gotten so out of hand. They sent the Secretary of War to my district today to campaign against me. I don't think that's ever been done.
It's also illegal.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, but it's insane. Like, we're in the middle of a war. Why should the Secretary of War come to Kentucky? I say it's because I'm harder to beat than Iran, and I don't even have a nuclear weapon.
The president trashed him publicly. And boomer voters 65 and older, glued to Fox regime media and the last remnants of our Social Security money, delivered the margin while every younger demographic rejected the forever war grip. Probability that this was stolen by those three billionaires and their lobby, in my opinion, near 100%. They didn't need to stuff every ballot when coordinated cash, mail-ins, and demographic targeting do the job. Foreign lobbies now openly auction congressional seats while taxpayers bleed for endless wars and America First is flushed down a golden toilet. The system just proved it's captured. No more illusions. Demand the SAVE Act, demand paper audits, enforce the 1938 Foreign Agents Registration Act. America's under foreign rule yet again, and a revolution is inevitable. John Bound reporting for the Alex Jones Network.
Yeah, so Massie, he did come out right away after he did make a pretty good joke there, right? I was looking for Ed Gowran, but I had to find him in Israel or whatever that was. But he did come out, do his concession speech. He handled it with pride and all that stuff, but we know that it was stolen from him. And I don't know what they're doing in the background, if they're going to contest it or whatever like that, because I don't know if you concede, if you could still contest it. I don't know how that works. I'm not up on how that works, but it's very interesting that Massie had so much support, and he's always been, I think he's always been a good old boy from Kentucky, and but the stats are in, and it's definitely not a let me put it this way. In 2022, when he had 57,000, there was 57 overall votes, 57,000 overall votes for that district. But for some reason, in the 2026 election, it was 101 or 105,000 1,000 votes ever casted for, for each, between the two opponents. So, I mean, the fix is definitely in. But let's listen to the stats here. See here, hold on a second. See what I got going on here. Play these two back to back. Okay, stand by.
I'm looking at the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. You have statistical anomalies here where it is one chance out of 200 in one of the breakdowns that there would be a 357% increase in voter turnout compared to any other race in that state's history for a Republican primary. Think about that. And then you've got a bunch of mail-in ballots that magically came in and put him up 8 points at the end. When the Pentagon comes in and campaigns against you, that has never been done before, they're all about winning the war before it even starts. Okay? And when I saw Texas say he's gone tomorrow, and I saw the confidence, I know confidence when I see it, he was gone. And I said, and I was feeling good last week when Massie was 20 points ahead and 25 points ahead in a lot of polls and in the poly market and the rest of it. And I said, I think he's going to win. But after I said it, I said, my gut said, you're wrong. So I thought about it. I thought about it. I don't know if they ever had time to find the clip. It was an hour and 50-minute interview with Nick Fuentes. But in the middle of the interview yesterday, I said, Nick, what's your prediction? He said, well, I don't know yet. I said, well, I got a bad feeling. I think he's going to lose tonight. But I said, because of fraud. And again, that's not an endorsement of everything Massie's done or his voting record. It's not as bad as they say. It's not as good as he says. I believe it's principled votes he's done, but most of what you hear about him is just made up crap. The issue is having a foreign power come in and brag that they were manipulating our election. Then they have their surrogates, we'll get this in a moment, saying, no, it's anti-Semitic. Israel didn't get involved in this. Netanyahu announced an 8-front war for congressional seats and for censorship here in the U.S. Do I need to play all the clips of him saying it? Or the $500 million they spent last year on propaganda in the U.S. to get us to be pro-war? Or the $760-something million last week that the Knesset funded publicly to spend in the United States? What are you talking about? Don't insult my intelligence, Ben Shapiro. I don't care if it's the UK, the Russians, the Chinese, the Mexicans, the Easter Bunny. What the hell's going on here? You think the Israelis put up with that type of crap? You saw what happened in Kentucky. I said last week when he was 20 points ahead, Massie in Polymarket, and a lot of the polls 10 points ahead, I said he needs about 10 points to override baked-in fraud. And then yesterday when Fuentes was on in the first hour, and we'll find the clip, I said, I got a bad feeling. President Trump talks about a storm is coming. All I've seen is a storm of insider trading and corruption, him going back on his promises, and an 80-plus day war with Iran that Israel got us into that's destroyed its recovery, increased gas prices by 56%, and exploded inflation. But I'm out here in Austin, Texas, with the rain coming down, a thunderstorm that is emblematic of the water of truth and life coming down, and Israel being drawn out of the open, the Likudniks, and the cult that is Benjamin Netanyahu, openly putting in over $20 million against Congressman Thomas Massie, and then openly foreign interference taking on election. So they may have won the battle, but they've lost the war. You just watch. They just created thousands of Thomas Massies to run for office. That's the truth. America is getting its self-determination back. Like we did 250 years ago for the King of England, we're doing it now against the EU and the Chi-Coms and BlackRock and the globalists and the Israel lobby and all the rest of them and the whole big tech AI cult. The rebellion is on. And intimidation of the people isn't working anymore. Just like the desert doesn't rain for a year. When it finally does, it blooms. The reign of the Great Awakening, the fourth turning, is here. The Great Reset was their counter to us. It was their counter to the Great Awakening, but it is failing magnificently. And I'm just blessed and honored to be part of this. But I got to tell you, to watch the Secretary of Defense, the Pentagon, for the first time in U.S. history, campaign against a member of Congress because they want to cut off the money to a war. That is a political attempted military coup inside our country. When the Democrats said they're going to use military for ICE, don't follow their orders, take their powers away. I knew the Constitution. Trump had that power. I supported it. And ICE has done a great job. The Democrats are still even more criminal than what he's doing. But that said, you should not have the Secretary of Defense, who I liked in the past, with this Israel First guy parading around saying this guy won't vote for us in our war, so get rid of him. And then Ben Shapiro says, oh, it's not about Israel. They got us into the war on February 28th. No, it is all about Israel. Netanyahu has a 50% approval rating. Netanyahu's been convicted. He needs this war to continue. It isn't even Israel that is completely behind this. It is criminal, special interests, the weapons makers, military industrial complex that another traitor, another Qatari agent, President Eisenhower warned us about in his farewell address in 61. The truth was he wasn't a Qatari agent, and I'm not either. I'm an agent of America and the Republic. And the reign of truth's coming down. You strike down Obi-Wan Kenobi, he becomes more powerful than you could possibly imagine. And this rain feels so good. I'm just seeing it in the rain. Just seeing the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Da, 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 da. So that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not putting a good face on this. It is a good face. Israel has uncloaked itself. The special interests have uncloaked themselves. The Klingons had uncloaked the fire. And they'll have their little Pyrrhic victory. That's a battle you win, but you lose the war. Follow me on X, Alex Jones on Rumble. Rumble.com/The Alex Jones Show Live. That's an official channel. 700,000 followers in just 10 days. And I will continue to break down the facts no matter what happens to me. Because in the end, they can target the leadership of the populist movement, try to make us turn back, but it's only because they're weak. We are winning. Humanity's winning, and I just salute you all. So, Congressman Massie, great job. Everybody else being targeted, they're calling it Trump's victory, making like it was about Trump. No, it's Israel's short-term victory. Foreign power, open meddling. Everything the Democrats told us about Russia, it doesn't exist. And so that's where we are. And now the battle lines are drawn. And not just Israel, but all these foreign interests are now going to be exposed. Because the truth is coming down like a rainstorm. You can hear the thunder. You can see the lightning. God bless you all. Follow my next Alex Jones and the backup network site, AJN Live on X and Rumble at rumble.com/The Alex Jones Show Live. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Oh, and the new news site with all the news feeds and video feeds and everything. Be sure to share that. The tyrants really hate people power. AlexJonesLive.com. You know, President Trump talks about.
Oh, all right. Yep. Alex is in the rain. Yeah, think about it. So Israel, well, we how do we say this? How do we do this properly? We know that they have their hands in everything. They've always had their hands in everything, Israel. They've always had their hands in every assassination, every false flag. I mean, maybe not every, but allegedly, right? All that stuff. They are always at the forefront of everything. I mean, look what he said when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. Remember that? Came out right away and then went on Fox News or whatever, Newsmax or whatever the hell it was, bought a spot just so he could go out there and have the guy ask him a question about if he killed Charlie Kirk, so they could get their cleanup going right away. This is who they are. And they just put, I know Alex said 20 million, but it was way more than that. It was the most expensive primary in the history of the United States to date for a House seat. Let's listen to Bill Hemmer. It's my favorite person in the whole wide world, right? Fox News. They are definitely, and I let me say this. I always thought way back when I first started paying attention to politics, Tucker was at Fox News, and I would catch his show on occasion, not all the time, but a lot of times I'd be, I'd turn on the Fox News to get to watch Tucker or whatever, and he'd have all these different these little 10-minute spots with people. Funny how those people are nowhere around anymore, but he would have these little segues and stuff, segments about different things, and I thought back then, how naive I was. I thought that Fox News was good, man. I thought that all the other media outlets were, basically fake news, but Fox News was good. They were like conservative, right? Well, after I started peeling the onion, I started finding out that Fox News is just like the rest of them, and they're all owned by Israel. They all are owned by the CIA. They all take their talking points from whoever is got the most money. We know this. We already know this, right? And at the time, I didn't know that. So I just want to say that because I've learned so much, and I'm really grateful. I really am, because I've learned so much in the last 5 or 6 years about the truth about media and the people that are in media, and how they lie to you about everything, and everything is propaganda that's coming out of the news, any news media operation on legacy media, right? We know this now, but at the time I didn't know. And so it just goes to show you, when you pay attention and you really start looking at the truth, how your eyes start opening up. It's like Roddy Piper putting on the glasses, right? Without the glasses, you can't see shit, and everything looks normal. But when you put the glasses on, you see the truth. And I definitely got that along the way, and I'm really grateful for that, because I was as dumb as a box of, I was, as dumb as a round, I was, how do you say it? I was as sharp as a round rock. I was dumb as a box of rocks. Anyway, oh, this is a great little hit. This is what they think of you. They think you're this stupid. Okay, this is what they think. They think that this is how stupid we are. Stand by.
Massey's raising a lot of money. He's raised twice as much as you have. Do you believe it's a difference of opinion with regard to policy, or is it a difference with the president?
Oh, it's a difference that he's been supported by a liberal elites. Look where that money's coming from. I've challenged the local papers. There's a Pulitzer Prize waiting for them of where he's getting his money. It is not coming from Kentucky. It is not coming from conservatives. They do not want Ed Gabbard, a conservative Republican, in Congress with these lapel pins and that symbology you see behind me. They want him because he is a co-conspirator with the radical Democrats. And the stakes are just going to get higher. Okay. He will continue to betray us past his prologue.
Everyone's watching. Ed Gabbard, thank you for coming on today. Tomorrow's a big day in those 21 counties, as you point out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to the viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody believe any of that? Any of it? Massie was outspent by 20 million minimum. Okay. And he doesn't vote with the Democrats. And I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. Thomas Massie would look at a bill, and if it had a bunch of pork in it, he would vote no on it. He wouldn't vote. And then he'd push them to go back to the table and take out all the garbage out of a bill, and then he'd vote for it. And if you look at his record, it's always been like that. He's not perfect. None of them are. But when you think about conservatism and right from wrong and what is best for the country and best for his constituents, he always voted that way for the most part, as far as I know. I mean, he's not perfect. And and just like all of them, they all do those stupid things, but he did not take any AIPAC money at all. Zero. Never took any money from the foreign lobby. And that guy, Galleron, he took a ton of money from AIPAC and Marion Ellison and all those people. And I'm disgusted that Trump did that to him. And the reason why he did it, when we really look at the truth, is because because Massie put that bill on to get the Epstein files exposed. That's why he's not now. That's why he's got 7 months left to his term. Been there 14 years. But I'd rather have somebody like that than this, fake conservative. What do you call it? The fake conservative with probably a fake accent. That's what they do. That good old boy. You know what I mean? All right, so check it out. I'm going to show you this, and I want you to pay attention to the numbers, because the numbers don't lie. And so, like I said, there was 100% more people voted in this election than all the previous elections going back to before 2020, before whatever the number is. But check this out. Let's see. Yeah, stand by.
Hey, what is going on, y'all? Listen, here's that second video that
This
I
is
promised
Ty.
you. Now, listen, rock with me real quick. I'm about to eat real quick, but I want to show you something. Listen. All right. So I looked up some results for Thomas Massie, right? Just to kind of see, like, how many people were voting in Kentucky around that time, and in the primaries specifically, right? So it first gave me the general election results, and you'll see right at the end there. I'll show you that right here. But you'll see right at the end here. Let me see. Go a little bit higher. Here it is. All right. We have 278,000 votes, right? That's general election kind of results. Right here, we have 167,541 votes, 256,000 votes, 162,000 votes. You get the point, right? That's just the general election results. So Thomas Massie fares very well in the general election, results. And sometimes uncontested, sometimes contested, it varies, it flip-flops. As far as, especially the primary, I'm sorry, he's uncontested here in the primary. I'm going to show you that here in a second. Let's scroll down. All right. Now, Ask Rock, I said, okay, I actually don't want the general. I want the primaries. So it showed me the primaries, and it showed me the ones that he was contested in. What I was able to kind of get from this is, now I'm going to show you, you let me know if you see the same thing. You see, of course, it's every 2 years, starting from 2012, right? So what I'm kind of noticing, sorry about that. What I'm kind of noticing is, here we go. Down here. So for these last 3 cycles here, from 2020, 2022, and 2024, right? There was a drop in the voter turnout. Now, I want you to notice this, because to me, this looks significant right here. You got 84,000 there. I'm trying not to read all of this to you guys, because I know it's a lot of boring data. So just the important data, right? Okay. 84,000, 66,000, 52,000, right? Roughly. So we see a drop here. Now, these are total votes in the Republican primary, right? And we see these drops are significant drops. These are total votes. okay, for all challengers, you know, Massie and everybody else that's included. These are the amount of people that came out to vote. What they're asking you to believe in this election, right, is that even though the last election in 2024 was 52,000 votes, scroll down, okay? What they're asking you to believe, and I asked this is the prompt that I asked, if the total votes for the primary were 52,000 in 2024, in 2026, the primary seems to have doubled. It seems that Ed has 57,000, while Massie has 47,000. Combined, that is a total of over 104,000 votes that have been reported thus far. As of right now, how many more votes or voters actually voted in 2026 compared to 2024 in the primary for that area? And here is what Grok gave me, okay? So it is approximately, here it is right here. Circle it for you guys. It's this information. Sorry, I was trying to do a little box for you guys. That didn't work out too well at all. The difference, approximately 51,000, 53,000 more votes compared to the full 2024 total. This represents an increase of about 98 to 101. Do you see that? 98 to 101%. Nearly double. Okay. Now, mathematically speaking, of course, we knew that already. 52 times 2 is 104. So, but I wanted you to see it in percentages so that you can actually see it for your brain to understand what we're looking at. Now, follow me. Watch where we're going with this. So, are you meaning to tell me that with this many more people, 51,000 to 53,000 more people that voted in this cycle, okay, double, that literally all of these people went to Ed? All of them. That's how you have to look at this. This is what they're asking you to believe. 104,000 people voted. Massie only got about 47,000 votes. So what they're asking you to believe is that Ed got 57,000 votes, and he has the whole influx of all the brand new voters, and plus some of Massie's voters. That's what they're asking you to believe. Do you understand how crazy that is? To even assume that a man who has they can spend all they want in ads. You can spend as much as you want in ads. I've read the trends. I saw the lines. I saw the amount of people who were for Massie. We all did. There was no big group of people that were for Ed. He could barely fill a garage. Like, let alone based off of his own energy, actually have a real movement.
Yeah, so when you look at the numbers don't lie. So you're telling me that 50,000 plus new voters all voted for Ed Gallerin. And because remember, he showed you the trends before for the last few years or the last few elections. And the numbers were about within, 10,000 votes for Massie. For all of the votes was within, 10,000 votes. Remember, because it was 58,000 or whatever the number was. And so you're telling me that 100% it doubled. So the vote doubled. Same thing happened in 2020. All of a sudden, we had Trump got 71,000 or whatever it was, and Joe Biden got 85,000 or 84 million votes. Millions. We're talking about the presidential election in 2020. You're telling me that based on trends that never have happened before, all of a sudden happen in 2020 or in 2026. It's it's impossible. That's the point. It's a high probability, allegedly, that what has happened is all those they said that there was a bunch of mail-in ballots that came in. And I'm going to show you this other sheet in a second, and it's going to break it down for you so you understand the voting market and the grids, because we actually have the graphs that show exactly the trends for that vote during the voting, how Massie was winning, and then all of a sudden his numbers drop and the other guys takes off. It's just like, the thing that happened in 2020. But let's get into it. Proof gambling sites being leveraged is what the headline is. It's proof gambling sites being leveraged through big tech to swing elections.
Going on, guys and girls? How are you doing? Listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. It's going to be real easy here tonight. How's it going? All right, listen, I'm walking around my kitchen right now, pacing around. I can't believe what I just found. Absolutely wild, absolutely crazy. I'm going to show you what they're doing right now with the way that they're using this betting system, okay? They're using gambling to be able to influence our elections here in the United States of America. And you need to know about this. Watch this. So I'm looking at this, and I bookmarked it earlier, as you can see, right? Breaking Trump-backed challenger Ed Gabbard odds continue to skyrocket against Representative Thomas Massie, right here, okay? Right there. Now, I want you to pay attention. We're going to click on that right there, right? You see they're showing, 44% chance of winning, right? They're already programming the number in your mind. That's ahead of time, right? Now, let's go back. Watch. We're going to click into it. So I scroll down. See, it's the same one right there. And it's like, oh, okay, it's stacked. This is a stack post. It's stacked on top of Kalshi politics. Okay, no problem. I don't know what Kalshi is, but it doesn't seem like a problem. So let's check that out. But then, wait, hold on. What's that? A paid partnership. Right here. A paid partnership. Hold on, that's a little weird. If you're on Kalshi and you're making a bet, you just want to kind of see how that goes. You want to see how it goes, and you don't have any kind of, you're not supposed to have any kind of play or any kind of insider knowledge or any kind of ability to influence the election. You're supposed to just be making money. But what if that's not the case? What if you are heavy in promoting one angle and one agenda, and then basically almost guaranteeing that this agenda wins and gets the bag? You can put marketing behind that. You can create a budget behind that. You can create discernible outcomes behind that. That is a marketing campaign. That is nothing new, not at all. But if you do it outside of the eyesight of political action committees and things like that, then nobody will ever see that ad spend. Nobody ever has to know that Kalshi was a part of influencing the elections in Kentucky. Now, how do we know that? Let's go deeper. Boom. 2 posts stacked on top of each other, both Kalshi politics. Okay? And you see that the paid thing isn't down there anymore. Now, look, they show you where it's at. He now has a 60% chance to defeat Thomas Massie. So instead of him losing the race, look, they showed you where it was. I'm going to go back real quick to show you. Look, does this look normal to you?
Go down.
Does this look normal to you? Let's look at this right here. Look at that. Right down here. Hold on, let me turn that back on so you can see it. Right here. Does that look normal? This whole time, okay? This is Ed down here. That's Ed. Okay? This is Massie up here. Now we get here just before election and it switches this drastically. What happened? I'm online. I see the love and the support for Thomas Massie. I see it. It's everywhere. I can't go a single place online and see a huge group and a huge community of people that are supporting this Ed guy. Nobody's supporting him. Why? Because he's supporting the people who support the Epstein class. Nobody wants that. Everybody can already see he's going to be bought out. He's only going to be another Trump yes guy. And people are getting kind of tired of Trump yes guys because they're not being listened to anymore as the public. So they're kind of ready to revolt a little bit. They're ready to fight back a little bit. They're ready to buck back a little bit. And Thomas Massie is that last voice standing in the way. The last voice standing in the way. So it's not odd to you, just a little bit odd to you, what we're looking at right here? That's not odd? Come on, guys and girls. Come on now. We can't be naive. We can't be naive. This is why I say it's important to understand when a marketing campaign is being ran.
Fuck you. War. For 14 years, those SOBs in Washington tried to buy my vote. They couldn't buy it. They decided to buy the seat. And it got real expensive for them. What was God's purpose? What is he showing us tonight? We're just getting started. I like that. Didn't mean to do this. It started out as an election and it turned into a movement. I mean, we stirred up something. There is a yearning in this country for somebody who will vote for principles over party. And they saw the influencers here. They panicked. They sent the Secretary of War here, and you stopped the war for a day. No more wars. No more wars. No more wars. They said you should eat bugs. Do you want to eat bugs? They said you'll own nothing and be happy about it. You want to do that? Well, guess what happened? We took out the CEO of the World Economic Forum with a 2-page bill. Today is the 6-month anniversary of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. We've taken out 24 CEOs, an ambassador, a prince, a prime minister, a minister of culture, and that was just 6 months. I got 7 months left in Congress. They're talking about this big ballroom they're going to build, and it looks like the Roman Empire. I see a few analogies there. We weren't really running against Ed Galrine. We weren't running against Donald Trump. We were running for what we believe in. We got to take care of America first. You are patriots, and you will inherit this country, and you will make it better. And I am hopeful because of that. We need to bring this country together. What happens in 2028? Oh, you want me to run for Congress again? All right, well, you made a compelling argument.
I believe very sincerely that the CIA is correct when they teach and talk about blowback.
Epstein class, right? So what do you think? You think Massey's going to be on the ballot in 28? What ballot do you think he'll be on? Think he'll be running for president? I might vote for him. Because you know what? He proved to me that, and you know this thing, Trump proved to us that he could do it too. And something happened, got compromised or whatever along the way. And, you know, it might, I mean, we've seen presidents come in here, come into the White House and change their whole repertoire like overnight. I don't know if it's the videos that they're showed or the threats or the money or the what. I don't know. It seems like they all get the same talking. I mean, you do what we say, or you'll be like JFK. That kind of rhymed, didn't it? We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. I'm curious to think. I have a theory. I have a probability. What do you think? What do you think of this? Massie Gabbard. I'm saying it here right now. Massie Gabbard. Very possible. Very, very, very possible. I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it's a high probability that that could be a thing. You know, when you think about it. I mean, if he ran, I mean, he could win. You know, because who's going to vote for Rubio or Vance after all this stuff that's gone on? You know, if there's even a vote in 28. Anyway. I have to say that was a pretty good segment. If you don't say so myself, not bad. Let's get into this now. The exposure is happening. Major exposure. The contractor for got cold in here. The contractor that did the pavers went on a show, a podcast with her. And I don't know because I mean it has been verified that he is the contractor that did the emergency paver operation at the site that Charlie Kirk was assassinated at. That tells you everything you need to know right there. But that he came out and said that it was the FBI and the governor of Utah that was like, we need this handled right now. So I'm going to play the clip right now in a minute, but I just want to say, we followed this a lot. We covered this. We've done a lot of different analysis on the shooting and different things like that. And I'm wondering at this point, I don't know for sure because I just don't know. But is it possible that, and we're not covering the shooting tonight, but I just want to say this. Is it possible that there was multiple triggers and some of them failed, and because I had the theory, and you go back to watch 239 or 240, one of those, where I showed you that he was shot behind the ear, and this is an exit wound. It still looks like an exit wound to me, but there's been a lot of talk about this exploding mic theory. And then a week or two after the exploding mic and Charlie Kirk being killed, the manufacturing plant with 16 workers died from exploding, the exploding mic theory. And it was also, this is what happened to that manufacturing plant, I think in Tennessee or something. I can't exactly remember. I have to go back and check my notes. But could it be that, hear me out, just hear me out. Is it possible that he was shot behind the ear, the exploding mic, and then he was shot in the chest? Because it looks like he was shot in the chest from a palm gun. I mean, when you look at it, it looks like he got shot in the chest by a palm gun. I don't know because I wasn't there, and can't get a good picture or a good video of anything because it's the weirdest thing. You have 4 and 6K video everywhere now, but yeah, everything's grainy. So I don't know. But anyway, we're going to probably dig into that a little bit deeper. But for now, let's look at this. So this guy, Dan Morrell, is a contractor who did the paving job back. He paved it back. Let's listen to what he has to say. Stand by.
Fast forward, I'm at home with my family, and I get a call, and I don't answer my phones on Sunday. They left a message, and the gentleman said, "Hey, this is kind of weird," and he was kind of hemming and hawing on the phone.
This was 5 days later then?
Yes,
You said it was on this Sunday? Okay.
Yeah, on Sunday. And he says, "We've got a paver emergency." I'm like, the hell is
When the hell's a
what the
paver
hell?
emergency?
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I'm thinking, this guy's, what the hell? So anyways, I wasn't going to even respond because I don't typically do that. But I'm like, paver emergency. Part of my MO is I like to be useful, where I can be help, So I texted the guy. I said, "Look, I don't work on Sundays. My guys don't work on Sundays. I'm happy to call you on Monday. What's a paver emergency?" So he sends me pictures of right where Charlie was murdered. And he says, "We need to put pavers in this place." So I called him, and the guy seemed like a genuine good dude. He says, "Look, we don't have a whole lot of answers. We're told by, people above us that we've got to put pavers in, today and tomorrow. It needs to be in by Monday. And we've never done pavers. We've never installed them. And we want to make sure we do it right." And he says, "Would you come help?" I said, 100%. So I went and got my shit. I got my trailer. I started calling my guys, and none of my guys answered. And so I started calling my other guys, my brothers. And then I called another, so I put together this ragtag team, of guys that we showed up on that Sunday, within an hour and a half of when they called us with our trailer. And we met with a couple of dudes. I was telling you there wasn't a whole lot of information. There was two guys that were kind of in charge.
So by this point, it's all dug up and everything.
Everything.
What did it look like?
I've got pictures, I could give you pictures of exactly when I showed up. I took pictures of what it looked like. They had taken out about 10 inches of the dirt around the whole place, right? Right now you can see where the pavers are, everything under that, probably 10 inches had been excavated.
Why do you think they excavated so much dirt? You think that they were trying to make sure they got any bullet fragments or anything that was in there?
I wasn't looking at it with that lens, dude.
Really?
I wasn't.
It didn't even cross your mind?
It didn't cross my mind. Here's the thing. You were saying stuff on social media. Everybody's saying stuff on social media. Yeah. And quite frankly, I had been, I got so disheartened with social media because they just spin everything and they talk shit and fear mongering and hate sells. And I didn't want to see it. I knew there was videos out there. Right when I pulled into town, when it happened, I Googled it and I saw the video from afar, right? Of Charlie getting shot. And I thought, man, I don't want to see that shit. This guy got shot. You see it, he's probably dead or dying, right? I don't want to see somebody murdered, especially a good man, a father and a husband. So I hadn't been on social media. I had stayed away from it. My wife had been on it and she was a wreck, bro. She was just, all that ugliness was just. So when I got the call, I thought, you better fucking believe it. I'm going to go help. That was all it was. I'm going to go help these guys. He's asking for help. They want to do it right. He framed it in the sense that, hey, we want this to be done right. So that's why I showed up. So, I mean, to do pavers correctly, you over excavate, you get rid of the top. So
you do?
You do 100%. Okay. You want to get a good base. And these guys had kind of, there was two guys in charge and a ragtag crew. One of the guys was in charge of a state-owned facility in American Fork. And the other guy was in a maintenance groundskeeper on a facility in Provo. And these are the two guys I'm corresponding with. The first guy, the second guy that I hadn't talked to on the phone basically said, hey, look, we're not talking to anybody. We're not saying anything to the media. He says this is above our pay grade. The FBI and the state, the governor and the FBI, that's what they told me. The governor and the FBI said they want this done by Monday. and we need to get it done. We're not asking questions. We're not talking to the media. And so I said, okay.
Yeah. So what do you think of that? Sounds pretty legit to me. I mean, it has been verified that he is the contractor. The thing that gets me is the cover up after. So he says this, and remember earlier we were listening to Alex talk about Gabbard and how Cash Patel was telling Gabbard that he's in charge of the investigation and to stop, basically stop investigating foreign entanglement or whatever. And makes me wonder, why would they, because as soon as it happened, as soon as I seen them putting pavers over, digging out that area, and I was like, why are they doing that? It reminds me of Butler when they were spraying off the building the next day or 2 days later or whatever, spraying the blood off the building, off the roof. It just reminds me of that. So let's look at this. Stand by.
I mean, this is just open and shut. Why would you come in and excavate out the entire area and pour new concrete in when it was all in perfect condition? We have the videos of it. And then that goes with ordering the cover-up of foreign involvement with the witnesses in the cabinet meeting, later confirmed mainstream media. The White House later confirmed it. Covering up the people saying he'll be dead tomorrow, a whole bunch of trans people as well. Obviously, in case they could fall back and actually say it was them. That's the cover story, the patsies. I talked to high-level TPUSA when I was investigating all this, and they said, no, Cash Patel told me that, yeah, we know there's a bunch of people saying he'd be dead, that day that knew him, but we don't think we can get convictions of that. Still investigate them. Still drag their ass in front of grand juries. Nope. We've got our official story, and we're sticking to it. And you add to that the Epstein cover-up and the cover-up of Butler. Oh, no accomplices. Don't look at anything. On and on and on. This doesn't just stink. It's rotten. It's like you come back from a trip, you smell something rotten in the house, you go, something's dead. And you look around, you poke around, you know something's dead, and you finally get where it's really stinking, it's an air conditioning vent, and you go up in it, and there's a dead, rotting possum in your air conditioning vent. That actually happened to me once. And you're like, you knew something was smelling, but now you found it. Now you know what it is. Big old rotting dead animal. And they're telling us, no, that's perfume. Oh, that's mom making buttermilk pancakes and bacon. I go, that don't smell like buttermilk pancakes and bacon to me. That smells like rotten meat. Cover up 100%. I have it directly from people in the meeting, Cash Patel, and Trump agreed. Even though after 9/11, Tulsi Gabbard's office of national intelligence oversight over the other agencies was set up to make sure foreign intelligence and domestic is shared. She's really the oversight boss. And Joe Kent's National Terrorism Center, that was set up for this. But no. Remember, Cash Patel basically ran to be FBI director on the FBI shouldn't be so involved in intelligence. And the Office of National Intelligence and the Counterterrorism Center, they should head this up. But then 180, oh my goodness, you do not go there. You do not look at any foreign involvement. No. Even though they had information. And Joe Kent gets asked on TV, well, can you tell us? He's like, it's classified, can't tell you. And the neocons go, see, he doesn't have anything. No, under the law, he can't tell you. But I can tell you they were investigating because we had the National Counterterrorism Center call us repeatedly, including Joe Kent. I'm going to stop right there. And why was that? Because we said Charlie was afraid they were going to kill him 1 month before. Harrison Smith. Yeah, tomorrow's the news today. We kind of got our finger to the pulse, our ear to the ground. Just a little bit. A lot of stuff goes on off air you don't know about. We have a lot of sources.
I want to start with sexual Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, so when I think about what I seen from about 2022 till 2026, 25, 26 with Cash Patel, and how he was saying all this stuff about making the FBI Hoover building a museum and all this stuff. Remember, he was saying all this stuff. He was saying all this stuff about how the FBI is corrupt and all this stuff, right? And then he gets in there and he just does a complete 180. Him and Bongino both. They both did the same thing. And now this, and then I remember the thing about see you in Valhalla. Just the whole thing just stinks, right? And then now this. Who's involved? Who do you think is involved in this? Who do you think is involved? Obviously, Israel allegedly is involved, but do you think that there's factions of the White House that's involved? That's my question. Because something don't make sense. A lot of things don't make sense, but this really doesn't make sense. So I wonder, and I'm just trying to piece this together right now. I'm just trying to do my best to use my brain, what little bit of brain cells I have left, to kind of put this together and get an idea of possibly, allegedly, what has transpired here. Obviously, Cash Patel is covering something up. Then the next question is, because we know he didn't do it, who is he covering up for? Is he covering up for Israel? Is he covering up for the White House? Is he covering up for the people that were security for Charlie Kirk? I mean, what are we looking at here? Like, when you look at all of the elements, because this is one of those things I'm just not going to let go of. Just not. So, let's look at the cover up. Stand by.
We know within a few days of Charlie Kirk being murdered, they came in and dug down into the ground several feet of concrete in the middle of the university and scooped it all out and re-poured concrete.
It was only 10 inches, but I get the.
Now, you don't do that unless you're covering something up. And the more we look at it, it does look like the microphone was exploding and that somehow it malfunctioned and only shot part up into the neck of the projectile, but the explosive charge to fire it blasted pieces down into the ground. And that's been the working theory forever. But the point is, you now have the contractor, we checked, it's him. I want to give him on the show, by the way, the producers, saying, no, I was told hurry up by the FBI and the governor. Get that dug out now. I mean, you could put the FBI and the governor in front of a grand jury and ask them, why'd you need to dig 4 or 5 feet in the ground and excavate the whole thing and then pour concrete in? I mean, talk about guilty behavior. If they were smart, they just leave it, and so what if there's some fragments? You can just say it's something else, and oh yeah, right. You don't know that. But to make sure they got fragments out of the asphalt concrete, they excavated it and said, "Hurry, get it out of here now!" And I'm just going to say it now. All that behavior, running up, grabbing all the cameras, running off, don't look good, folks. Contractor hired to pave over Charlie Kirk's murder scene reveals FBI and governor ordered immediate excavation. Why? Why? Utah contractor Dan Merrill recently joined a podcast where he revealed the FBI and Utah Governor Spencer Cox ordered workers to excavate the area where conservative icon Charlie Kirk was murdered within days of the assassination. Kirk was shot on Wednesday, and the government ordered the excavation and paver installation finished by Monday. Merrill explained when he got the call saying he received the bid to take care of the grounds where Kirk was killed. He just wanted to help because he felt bad about what happened. He was told by colleagues working on the project that nobody was to speak with the media because it was above their pay grade, and that the governor and the FBI said they want this done by Monday and we need it done. We're not asking questions. We'll play the clip here in a moment, but if he's just shot in the neck with 30-06 and the bullet's in him, doesn't go through magically, then why do you need to tear everything out, never preserve any of the crime scene, and get out of Dodge so fast? I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. So there's no doubt there's a cover-up. I mean, I have it from inside the cabinet meeting. Don't look at foreign involvement. You have them when Candace came out saying, I have the text messages that he was thinking Israel might come after him, and he was breaking with Israel. They were threatening him. And they said she was a liar, so she released him, and a bunch of other people released him. The text messages, they were proven to be true. And so he was getting ready. He was already starting to do it, speaking out about Israel trying to bully and control. He was a pro-Massie guy. And they said, hey, man, we've been funding this kid. They weren't his biggest funders, but they were one of the largest and let's say most long-term. And they said, we own this guy. 86 his ass. And that's what happened. I mean, that's 99% chance on that. I mean, I don't see how you don't look at all this evidence and come back with that. Again, someone's shot in the neck. The bullet sent him the autopsy, says, or the surgeon said, never really an autopsy. The attending physician, the attending surgeon. And you've got to excavate it? Well, I mean, what the hell is that? Hurry up and dig this out and get all this up. No one, get rid of the crime scene right now. Hurry, dig it out right now. That's like if somebody's walking down the street at midnight in a neighborhood and the cops are doing a patrol and the person's dressed in black and they see a cop car and they run. It's called probable cause. Cops, lights are on, woo, woo, woo. What, guys jumping fences, everything else. A helicopter gets involved, cops chase them down, and the guy's got a bag of stolen jewelry and guns. He just broke in 2 houses. The cops know when we get this guy, he's got a bag of meth or he just robbed somebody. And the people running this, the FBI, the Republican governor, all of them are acting like somebody where you walk through the beepers at Target or Walmart and it goes beep, 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 and you've got your cart of stuff you bought, but they know you probably slipped in some stuff. They go, hey, let me check that. And the person books. You know, they shoplifted. I mean, this is, I just want to tell the people that did this, the globalist consortium, Israel and the black op groups here, you guys are really stupid. They never would have dug the stuff out. No one could ever prove forensically. Even people went and dug out some shrapnel or something from the exploding microphone weapon. Could have had an apparatus down below him in the stage. I don't know, but you don't excavate something out unless you're covering something up. Now, this guy, we looked him up. He is the contractor that had the job. And he's got balls doing this because they're probably going to come after him. I guarantee you the university's going to not give any more contracts. So the guy's got integrity right there. I want him on the show. I want this guy on the show. But we don't need to believe him. They did order it excavated in an expedited fashion. Why do you dig up the concrete asphalt area in the middle of the mall of the university? Why do you do that? I want answers. But of course, you're not going to get them. And I'll tell the establishment again, you guys are getting really stupid. I mean, how obvious is that? That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm not trying to give you tips on doing bad stuff, but my God, I can get into villain mode. You know, I'm not a villain, but I can like switch to villain mode.
I want to start.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. Like, I want to know who ordered the cover up. Why is there a cover up? What is the details around this? There's more to the story. We're not going to let go. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. We're going to continue to look and dig and find out what we can find out. And more comes out. You know, everything that goes up comes down. It's just the way it goes. I mean, we're going to get the truth. It might take a while, but we've found the truth around everything else. We're going to find out the truth. It might take a while, but we're going to find out. Now, I'm going to shift a little bit here. Run out of time. I'm going to see if I can do this in the next 10 minutes. I'm sure I'll be fine here. We'll be fine. We'll do it. Have you ever heard of remote viewing? So if you have or not, I don't know. So people, you know, they have, you know, everyone has the ability to remote view if you can tap into it, right? It's a human thing that you can do is remote view. You can go into another, I don't know exactly what it's called, like an out of body experience type thing. And you know, if you don't believe in this, that's great, fine, no problem. I'm just going to show you the information. Try to have an open mind. So she remote viewed Charlie Kirk and talked to Charlie Kirk. And then she went back in to do another one later on. And Charlie was there and Erica was there. Now I know that sounds weird and she's going to explain it and all that stuff, but it's like she calls it soul snatching or body snatching or something like that, where they take your soul from your body and leave your body there with and it gets taken over by someone else or some other soul, some other entity, whatever it's called. And so which would make sense with everything that we've seen with TPUSA and all the stuff that's going on now currently, allegedly, I got to say that so I don't get sued, allegedly. And let's listen to what Elizabeth April says about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk remote view. It's short. It's not that. It's I trimmed it down the best I could. How long is it? Let's see. It's 6 minutes, but we're gonna let's just try to have an open mind around this. And these are the kind of things that like reveal stuff to us. And I want to get her on. And I got a message out to her. I haven't heard back from her yet, but I'm hoping that I can get her on the show so we can have a conversation about this, because I'm interested in how this whole thing works and because she's remote viewed Trump, a bunch of people, lots of different people. She did Jim Carrey. She's done a lot. And she's on YouTube at Elizabeth April if you want to check her out.
So what I remote viewed last time, this was a targeted attempt. Well, it's not even an attempt. It was a targeted assassination by the shadow government. The suspected assassin that they have in custody right now was just a pawn. That is not the guy who killed Charlie Kirk at all. They used MK Ultra techniques, which is basically brainwashing, mind control. Sometimes they use substances to do so in order to get this pawn, this assassin, okay, to do their bidding, the shadow government. So why did they do this? Why did they take out Charlie Kirk? His influence was getting big and he basically wasn't controllable anymore. We're going to talk about the control factor as well. Now, in the first remote view, same thing. I was pretty surprised that his spirit came through and had a lot of messages to share. The biggest message that he had to share in the first remote view, in the first video of Charlie Kirk, was that he really wanted people to unite after his death, not divide. He also wished that he did more. And of course, there was a lot of hurt and a lot of pain around his family, the loss of his family. It's like, it's just keep an open mind. That's all I'm going to say, because it's weird. Okay. And it's like, this is my world, and I've seen some pretty crazy stuff, and yet I'm still a skeptic, and I'm still hard pressed to fully accept certain situations. This is what I saw. This is who I communicated with. Take it or leave it. When I dropped into the remote view and I wanted to gather information around specifically Erica Kirk and Candace Owens, Charlie came through once again. I did not want to talk to him or was looking to talk to him, but he came through. And to my shock, Erica Kirk was there with him. I know. Take it or leave it. But I was very confused because we understand Charlie Kirk is on the other side. His spirit has crossed over, he's in that place, whatever you want to call it, heaven or whatever. He's in that place. And right beside him was his wife, Erica Kirk. And so, of course, my first question was, what are you doing here? I'm pretty sure you're currently running a book tour or whatever. Why are you here? And so, because of what I've seen before, I was wondering, did they, there could be many different things as to why she was on the other side. Obviously, my first thought was, did they have a clone of you? Do they have a body double? Like, did they replace you essentially? Because apparently they do that a lot these days. And I have videos on clones if you're interested in that. So that was kind of my first thinking, but that's actually not what happened. And I don't know exactly why they didn't replace her with a clone. Sometimes it takes quite a while to initiate a clone body. I know it's weird, but it's kind of like uploading a whole new, like you're programming a whole new person in a different body. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they just didn't have a clone of Erica Kirk. I don't know what happened there, but essentially it was more of like a possession or a body snatching like I call it body snatching, but like essentially what happened was there was another entity that took over her original body, which is what they used to do a lot in the past, especially when it comes down to shadow government groups or the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. One of their, I didn't really get immediately that it was like a reptilian that took over her or just like an entity, whatever it is. It's obviously dark and gross and shadowy, but it actually took over her real body. And in doing so, it kicked her soul out of her real body. And now she's on the other side. Like the real Erica Kirk is on the other side. And I will say, just because I do get impressions from spirits on the other side, she seemed like a truly caring, loving, like honest, authentic person. And I don't know her work. I don't know who she is. But as a spirit from that side, it felt like she was actually a really good match for Charlie, because he felt like same thing, a very compassionate, very like just very much so about his mission, but also those two together and their family was something else. And that was real. Whoever is in her body right now, that's not her. That is not her. And that kind of takeover or that body snatching happened quite quickly after, and we're going to talk about the process of how that happened, because I had to ask them questions. I was just curious. I was just very curious. We're going to talk about how that happened, but I guess that happened quite soon after he was assassinated.
Yeah. So, as strange and weird and crazy and wild and out of this world as that is, it makes
First thing, when I saw them on the other side, Charlie I've already talked to, but Erica, the main thing that was her concern, like she was in a panic, like she was quite frantic on the other side. And her biggest number one concern was
interesting. That split, it was just the end of that. That's weird. Anyway, so as strange and maybe even uncomfortable as that is, I mean, I have met with some psychic type people in the past. I went on my show one time, but where they talk to people that are, that have passed over to the other side in heaven or whatever like that. I've seen this before. So I'm not sure exactly how the whole thing works yet. I'm working on figuring that out. But it would make sense why what's going on at TPUSA is different if they have a different soul in the. Because listen, you don't have to believe it, but there's reptilian, there's clones, there's body doubles, there's all these different things that the shadow government use to um to further whatever their purpose is, their whatever they're doing. It's just real. That's why about a month or so ago, I said to my audience, I don't know if President Trump is under some kind of a mind control or body double snatching, something like similar to what we're talking about with this alleged Erica Kirk leaving her body and being taken over by another soul, right, or whatever it's called. Now, the reason why I brought this is because there's so much discrepancy right now about Erica and the way she operates, the way things that she does, how she says things, how she acts, how she's not with her kids all the time, and all that. It would make complete sense if that's what's transpired here. It would just make complete sense to me. So take it for what you will. I mean, very, very interesting to say the least. So I didn't do a plug tonight. I should have done a plug. Maybe I should. I guess I missed it. So if you could please go to the description or go to my website, Inspector Webb's it's on the screen, and check out our sponsors. Maybe buy some restorable food or get a water filter. You're going to need one. I mean, from what we're looking at right now, the shit that's happening right now, we could be at a full scale war any second. I mean, like big ones, and we're going to cover it tomorrow night. We'll talk more about the Iran war and what's happening with that and what they're talking about with the food and the famine that's coming and all that stuff. It's not good. Okay. If it might even be too late to pull out of an Iran war to save humanity at this point. It's that bad. I mean, it really is. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. This stuff that we did tonight was so important. It's been on my heart to like really cover these things, and it was perfect because that contractor came out in the last day or two and started talking about what happened with the FBI and the government in Utah. So it worked out perfect because I really wanted to cover that stuff. But please go check out, subscribe to the channel, check out our stuff on my website. Please support us. It's only through your support that we're able to do this stuff. And thank you. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow night. Be safe out there. I mean, God bless you. Good night.